Did you
Boy,
break something already?
No, I just forgot to unmute us. I am fucking dumb.
We went through an entire intro. I could have been derailing this entire time, and nobody would have known.
Nobody would have known. Nobody would have known about all the
apologize to the people whose
fascinating
ears I
things
just
we've talked
destroyed
about.
with my
I cannot
frustrated
wait.
groan.
I cannot wait for the day, like 3, maybe 5 years from now, where we're all able to sit in the same room together. I'll just be looking at the soundboard like he hasn't unmuted us. Time to derail. We'll just have a 4-hour, like a 2-hour stream of.
No, and the best part is there'll be no audio. People will just see the derail counter tick.
Yeah, I was really curious as to why no audio was coming through when I was testing the play function. Now I know. Thanks for notifying us, Calvin. We would have done this whole fucking stream muted.
While that might have had a humor value all of its own.
Only for us, though.
Only
Yes.
for us, though. Just in case you were curious as to what I was saying earlier, when we were muted, I was giving the generic reading. And the
we were giving the "don't harass them" spiel, which, again, because we were muted, we'll reiterate it. Leave them alone. We're saying this in no uncertain terms.
Hi, Isley.
Leave
No,
them
you're
alone.
not late, Isley. Do not worry yourself.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm gonna mute myself so I can finish my dinner, but I will be listening in.
Hold on. Let's see. Hold inappropriate messages for review. Fuck off. No, why would I do that?
What do you? What?
What are you trying to do?
Is Twitch trying to make you actually moderate the stream?
No, YouTube was like, hey, we've introduced new features for you to be more of a controlling busybody.
I was gonna say, first of all, he's got me here, so I can take care of any moderation the chat needs.
Meanwhile, I'm
is
just
basically
sitting here
nothing.
still wondering why he has yet to mod me, and you've just forgotten all the chat commands, haven't you?
No, baby.
Yeah, yeah. It's okay, Sneaky. You forget a lot of stuff.
But he didn't forget to get a job. He did get one of those today.
Hopefully.
Did he?
Did not technically get a job yet.
But you did apply.
There. I pressed the moderator button.
That's just as good.
You can say, more specifically, the job came to him, but...
Hey,
Wait,
listen,
Wait,
mate,
no, Sneaky, I think you...
either or is good.
Sneaky, it says you modded him, and then now you've unmodded him, so...
Oh my god, Sneaky.
Hold on. I'm getting the hang of this.
Is he drunk? Did he take some shots before getting on stream?
That might make this more entertaining.
No!
No to the entertainment
Hold
or
on.
no to the shots.
Holy
Sticky, what's
crap.
the big red button do? Basically. Thanks, Isley.
No, you don't understand, Isley. We have forbidden him from having red buttons after the last time.
Yeah, I think if when we eventually all get in an apartment or whatever, I'm gonna strap a big red button somewhere. I'm gonna hook it up so he can just smash that to stop every stream.
How does a job come to you? Well, you see, it's when you have a certain set of skills, and those people are interested in your set of skills, and they wish to hire you for them.
Yeah. So.
Anyway, rewind to us not being incompetent morons.
Us. You specifically.
Us.
You. This is not Soviet wobble. This is not a war crime. This is just you.
Us. There is
You.
a reason why we are called Two Idiots and Suthner.
Yeah. I'm not one of the idiots, though.
This is Lord of the Rings. I dreamed a dream. I would have to kill you if I told you the job, Calvin.
Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna mute myself for this, because I don't know enough about Lord of the Rings to put anything useful as far as the fandom goes. I swear to God, if this is a horrible, horrible insult to one of my personal heroes of history, don't expect me to come on until the story's done. I will be grinding my teeth in anguish.
Indeed.
No. Unmute yourself. We want to hear that. We want to hear the dental bill racking
Did
up.
we ever figure out who was the Southerner? Well, that will not be a question that needs to be answered if the job goes the way I think it will. Because I'll either be dead or...
So, drop that link.
Yeah, I already did.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, so you did. My apologies.
I Dreamed a Dream by Dragonfire 400. They had no voice, no one to represent them. They were despised and reviled. She became that which the free people hated most. And with her transformation, a great reckoning began. It will change the face of Middle-earth as ancient secrets are brought to light. A story of the dark before the dawn, where dreams and nightmares are the most real.
Wait,
OC,
what? The darkness?
Self-insert, eventually 10th Walker. Alright, so...
Alright,
so,
we haven't touched this section in a while.
Yes, we have not. To those unaware, the term 10th Walker refers to the Lord of the Rings band, the 9 people who make up the Fellowship of the Ring.
They were the Walker 9 Walkers, the Fellowship of the 9.
Yeah. The 10th Walker refers to a self-insert OC that gets added to the Fellowship.
Which, I will say this, in and of itself, that is not necessarily a problem.
It's not necessarily a problem.
I was gonna say, it's not like something like, say, Ruby, where, I just tacked my OC onto Team Ruby.
Yeah.
It's not like that.
I think the main problem with it is in, like, many forms of fanfiction themes. It's been poisoned. The well has been thoroughly poisoned to the point where there's very little water left. There's just so much poor... There's probably David Tennant in Lord of the Rings. I'm sure it's out there. There's just so much poorly done 10th Walker fix that you're just looking at 10th Walker and you're like, ugh.
I was gonna say, it's like when someone goes, I'm a self-insert ninja into Naruto.
I'm a self-insert OC ninja in Naruto, and Naruto becomes my best friend, and I make sure Sasuke doesn't do this betrayals, because I know the future.
Like, there's nothing inherently wrong with a self-insert OC. There isn't. But, again, the well has been so thoroughly poisoned.
Because, branching off of what I just said, this is a bit of a derail, though. I hate stories that are like, oh, character knows the future because either it's a self-insert OC who's the author, who's like, oh, I know the Naruto world, I know what's going to happen, or it's, time traveling from the future into the past. I hate it when authors go, like, they make, like, 10 chapters of deliberation of the character being like, oh, I can't share the knowledge or change anything, because then my knowledge wouldn't be useful. And it's just like...
But it's not...
But it's already useless.
Because you've refused to use it.
Not even that. Because you are there now, you've already started changing things by just existing. So unless you're gonna, like, go fucking off yourself and make sure your body's never found, it's fucking pointless. So...
Yeah. I was gonna say, there are some where in, like, say, a crack fic, like the one I'm writing with Max, which we do have to get back to writing, Max. We do have knowledge of what's going to happen, but we are being forcibly prevented from sharing it.
Indeed, which is a completely fine trope to use. It's just I've seen so many time travel stories with time travel in them, in that it's just like, oh, I don't know if I should do anything because then this might change and then my knowledge might be useless. It's like, well, then what the fuck are you gonna use the knowledge?
Now, if it had been I haven't seen one that's done this.
No, I can probably tell you if there is one.
But if there's a good one, mind you, a good one of these, where the person sits down and goes through everything they know and say, I'm gonna leave everything the same as much as possible until I get to X point. X point is when I'm going to try to interfere. That might be interesting, because if they go, okay, the second time Sasuke goes off the rails, that's when I need to try to bring him back. That's the most important point to bring him back in.
As for fixed points in time, there's a lot of ways you can write time travel-based fics, and it's also highly dependent on if time travel's already been touched upon in canon. but for things like Naruto or Mass Effect or etc., where the worlds are actually fairly large in scale, there's a lot of events that go on in the worlds that are completely not connected to
canon.
The main characters of canon at all, and that they'll continue to progress exactly as they would have, regardless of what happens to the canon main characters. So you could say fixed points in time, but it's more like, I mean, there's no butterfly effect affecting them.
Well, I was gonna say there's just a limited impact that a human being can have. Like, for instance, if someone gets dropped into the Naruto universe and they're busy trying to stop Sasuke from going off the rails, Gaara's still going to be Gaara. Nothing's going to change about the way Gaara progresses.
Yeah, but then back to the time thing is with, say Doctor Who, for example, it is very much fixed points in time. That is a canon plot thing, so it's like, you have to balance, what makes the most sense for your story and what canon says on a certain issue.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's see. Any more comments?
Hold on a minute. Gandalf, Aragorn,
yeah,
Orc.
Yeah.
I missed out on some great conversation just then.
Probably.
Orc
that sucks.
Yes. Yeah.
Are they really gonna make their 10th Walker an Orc?
I believe they are. Judging if this... Okay, hold on. I'm gonna check their profile and see if this is a story, but yes, it is a story. It is a story. It is a story custom. It's a custom story photo. So, yes. The 10th Walker is, in fact, going to be a female orc from Africa.
Okay.
You what, mate?
He's going based off the picture. It was on another one of their, I did see it on another one of their, stories, but, look.
That's because...
No, see, this is actually important. Both stories connect to each other. One Sweet Dreams,
it's a
and this
companion
is
piece.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sweet Dreams is a companion piece.
Okay, look. Obviously, this is a fanfiction author, and they can do as they please. But there are not... If there are male and female orcs, there is no, and there never has been, any discernible difference between them.
Indeed.
Because orcs do not have babies. Uruk-hai do not have babies. Orcs and Uruk-hai are spawned. They are spawned from pits and holes in the ground.
Yeah, so it wouldn't make much sense, actually, to have female orcs. That's,
That's just what I'm saying.
creepy as fuck.
It's actually kind of resource costly.
But so, like I said, even if there are female orcs, there is no difference between them and the male orcs. And furthermore, again, this is someone's right as an author of a piece of fan fiction to alter canon, but they do need. This is something that you have to be prepared for. When you go altering canon drastically, you have to be prepared for people to push back.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're significantly altering canon, and I'm sorry, but in Lord of the Rings, Tolkien created a very black and white world. Even when there's conflicts amongst the other races, it is amongst the quote-unquote good races, it is still very black and white.
Also, it should be said that this orc does in fact have an afro, as Isley did point out. Yeah.
That's another problem.
But you may or may not have been paying attention to the stream while you've been talking. I have just been scrolling through picture after picture of Tolkien-approved orcs. And,
yeah.
Let's just say they don't match remotely the author's idea of what an orc looks
I was going to say, the closest that I think we've ever gotten to a quote-unquote pretty orc would probably be the white orc from The Hobbit, and he's not pretty, he's just the least offensive looking.
Yeah.
Let's be real about that.
And so the thing here is orcs come in shades of pale, green, and like
gray and red.
Yeah, I would say gray and red. Yeah, more or less. But it's just like a lightly tanned, American black-looking orc who's female and has a afro.
Does not fit that.
Not exactly fitting into the box of what the species looks like.
And furthermore, like I said, Tolkien created a very black and white world.
Yeah,
that's the way he wrote this.
Orcs are evil.
Orcs are evil, and it's not like, and he even gives a reason for that. Orcs are evil because elves are good, and orcs are created by torturing the shit out of elves. At least first generation orcs.
First generation
were. Second generation orcs are only going to be worse off.
But it's like I'm all for creating your OC and shoving it into a world, but it's like
do it well.
And like I said, it is the author's
don't expect clapbacks, I guess you could say, unless if you're gonna be like, oh, it's a 8-foot-tall human female who bench presses 700 pounds.
I see we've got a D&D character. I see we've got a 5e barbarian.
But it's taking place in, I don't know, fucking generic slice-of-life Japanese anime.
Okay, that could actually be really funny.
Okay, yes, that would be fair enough.
It would be.
That would be highly amusing.
Really funny, actually.
Like, I love how he's like, I'm gonna make a point with this. Ah, shit, that would actually be hilarious.
Yes, that would be amusing as shit. Yes, you are right. But you understand my point where it's like, hold on a second.
We do. However, we do want to point out that'd be hilarious. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and read the author's note, if that's alright.
Go for it,
Yeah.
Hi, Dragonfire here. For those familiar with me, I've been writing the story A Dragon's Destiny since April. I became interested deeply in many parts of the lore of Arda during that story. This is a girl falls into me story. I don't know what that means. We'll find out later. It is not, however, anything like I've seen before. Call me biased, but give me the chance to get to Chapter 2 before you cast your judgment. No! That's not how this works. We've been over this.
Yep.
I do my best not to make anyone a Mary Sue. I try not to make people superheroes or give them exorbitant amounts of talents. Well, you picked a very bad story to do that in. This is Lord of the Rings.
Everyone is good or bad at something. Some people have multiple talents. I endeavor to draw them. Well, I'm excited to start the new story. Nervous, blah, 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 Dragon's Destiny. Okay. So I appreciate her sentiment. I appreciate her sentiment in that she doesn't want to write a Mary Sue, and that she thinks she's doing the steps she needs to take to avoid it. The problem here, though, is that there's more to a Mary Sue than just, oh, they're overpowered.
Or, oh, they're good at everything.
Like, the other parts of Mary Sue is how they look, how characters react to them, how they act.
Yeah. I was gonna say one of the most important things that can come up is their mistakes, how often they make them, how quickly they're glossed over.
Like,
those are very important.
Like the male version, Gary's still. Yeah, it's a light novel that was recommended to me on Amazon recently called Penguin in a VR in a in an MMO.
Yeah.
Main character is multi-billionaire at the young age of like I think 20 or 21. He's great at everything. He looks amazing, so on and so forth. He's a child genius. Yeah. But because of his attitude and the way he thinks, people don't actually like him. There's a handful of people who tolerate him or look up to them, and these people are, family members or childhood friends who've gotten used to his particular quirks.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
In this case, the biggest flaw of this character is he's damn near intolerable.
Yeah.
Sneaky, he's the kind of person you would punch in the face.
Probably.
I was gonna say
upon meeting him. And it also helps, he's not as much the main focus, so much it's the One Punch Man scenario.
Yeah.
Our focus is not just the character, it is everyone around him, the world around him, and the interactions the world has with him.
Yeah. Like, back when I was writing Valkyrie, I was concerned, mildly at least, that she would be considered Mary Sue-ish by some. And they weren't unfounded concerns. Back when I originally was, writing this shit up for Valkyrie, it was very much skewed in the Mary Sue direction, and so I went through some revisions and ended up writing her eventually, and then well, let's just say she wishes she was a Mary Sue.
Yeah.
Apparently,
also,
being Valkyrie is suffering.
Sneaky. Captain Calvin brought up, we're not derailing, we're just focusing on a different aspect the chat's brought up. Bruce Wayne, and the controversy around whether or not Bruce is
I think he was talking about Bruce Wayne in the reference to what Max was describing as a very extremely rich, good-looking young man.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say it's actually a decent discussion to have while we're on the subject of Gary Stews, because Batman does have quite a few things going for him.
Well, here's the thing: is like one reason I'm willing to give alleged Gary Stews and Mary Stews more of a chance than other people is because I have met people like that.
Wait, who was right, Calvin? Me or Sneaky? Because saying "indeed I did" does not help us.
Indeed, he's referring to my interpretation of Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, but people like that sadly do exist, and it's weird.
Oh yeah, no. See, that's the thing though. Is that there are people out there like that. Like you look at CEOs of very successful companies, or just companies in general that skyrocketed in their potential, and you actually look at like what they do, and they go to sleep, they sleep for 4 hours, they wake up, they spend maybe 10 minutes getting ready, and then it's just the rest of their existence is just fucking basically the equivalent of office work bench pressing.
Oh, no, he doesn't even do that. Like, he made investments as a kid.
Oh, no, what I'm talking about is there are people out there who...
there are people who are able to handle this workload who are like literally Superman in the workplace, It's interesting meeting those people, too, because they're either the most obnoxious braggarts or the most humble of people you'll ever meet.
Oh, yeah, totally.
I've yet to see one who's in between.
People don't like reading about them. And...
Yeah, because there's no...
There's no perceived flaws,
journey.
I guess you could say.
There's no... It becomes more of an issue for me, like, there's no journey. I know this character's going to fix it, because they have everything versus well-constructed moments of, like, I don't know if the character's actually going to win this or not.
Well, I was going to say... And
they solved this problem, but got their ass handed to them the very next problem that popped up.
I was going to say, it's something that does come up with one of the things that helps prevent Batman, in particular, from becoming a Gary Stew, is how fucking messed up he is on a mental level. I'm not just talking about being an almost intolerable person to be around. I'm talking about the deep mental trauma that he had. Like, there have been several storylines that have reiterated this point. I
mean, on top of that, there's also a lot of storylines out there of people being like, "Holy shit, Batman, calm the fuck down."
Well, yeah, but the ones I was about to refer to,
that's an important part of being not being a Gary Stew as well, is actually having people be like, "Yo, hey, your idea is actually dumb, and you need to stop."
Yeah, well, not just that, but saying you are completely out of control and you need to step off, and not just being explained away. Like,
like
a lot of the time when Superman goes up to Batman and says, "Stop it," Batman's like, "Okay, Clark probably has a point."
Yeah, like interactions with the Justice League's going to be interesting. Like, you get the whole thing of probably one of the bigger Gary Stu moments, if you don't know anything else about Batman, is the moment where, like, do you have a plan for every member of this Justice League in case we go rogue? Yes, I do. What's your plan? You guys are. That comes off as really cocky and whatnot.
What's your plan for you?
Yeah. It's like the Justice League. Who else, right?
Yeah.
That's one of those moments where it comes off as really Gary Stu-ish. But if you watch the rest of the show, you can realize, no, he puts a lot of trust in these people, and he's also earned the right to be that arrogant.
Yeah.
Because of his accomplishments over the last, I think, he's been Batman for probably about 5 to 10 years at that point.
And like another example being, there's been multiple storylines that have done this, but things like the Black Mercy or different stories with the Mad Hatter, where different people try to, quote, make Batman happy. And he is such a deeply damaged individual that on some level, he isn't capable of that. In one of the times when the Mad Hatter tries to give him a happy little world, he breaks out of it, takes the hat off, and the Hatter's like, why? Why didn't you stay? Because I don't deserve a happy world. It's like, Jesus, Bruce!
Yep. And keep in mind, of course, that another thing going in Batman's favor is he's had years to build this shit up versus, like, a handful of months.
Yes, but I'm just saying, and when you look at people like Dick Grayson, Dick has his own series of problems. Although, as much as I love Dick Grayson, as much as I think he is the best Robin ever, and Nightwing is amazing, he is a little bit more Gary Stu-ish than even Bruce, because he generally has a better time of things than Bruce does. Which isn't to say things don't go horribly wrong for Nightwing. They can, and they do.
Yeah,
poor guy.
I don't want to go too far into this conversation. I need to keep on track, but also because the current state of comic books, it's roughly mirroring the current state of fan fiction, and it's actually one of the reasons why I want to raise the bar when it comes to fan fiction. I want people, because I obviously am not arrogant enough to think that I alone will raise the bar. I want people to go out there. If I can get some, big name authors to hear with my words and be like, yeah, you know what, I really should, make a little mention of, hey, do better in my author's note or something when I release a chapter. It's a one pebble at a time thing, and writers these days come from the fan fiction section of the internet. That is how people get started writing these days, because of how easy it is and how many fandoms there are. There's bound to be one you like, and if you're going to be a writer, there's bound to be one you're going to like writing for, and you're probably going to write for it before you work on your original fiction.
Yeah. It also helps that the world's kind of set up ahead of time.
Yeah. And and don't get me wrong, I completely understand that people writing fan fiction more often than not aren't professional writers in the slightest, and that's fine. It's a good.
We don't expect them to be,
but it's something I saw in sports. It's something I've seen all around. It's something that's starting to affect the actual industries of young adult novels and comic books and whatnot. The bar has been so low for so long when it comes to what is acceptable, when it comes to writing and the amount of effort put into it, in that it's starting to destroy the comic industry.
Yeah.
Like the comic industry is collapsing. One of the companies IDW, which to some would mean some things, currently just reported a 91% drop in profit.
Yeah. Whoa, that much? Jeez, I didn't know it was that bad.
Yeah.
Alright then.
Yeah. So
now, part of it is, I have to say, part of the problem is, unlike books, comics have for a very long time been pretty like there's only so many times you can rehash and reboot Batman and Superman. And even though...
But the thing is, though, is you're doing... Those rehashes and reboots work just fine because you're supposed to be advertising, while at the same time have, you know, 1 or 2 series for the older audience who grew up on the comics. Your main focus is going to be the younger audience who are going to see your comics and want to buy them.
Yeah. Also, Captain Calvin, if you're trying to say that Frank Miller lowered the bar, I'm going to respectfully disagree with you. I'm not saying he raised the bar, but I don't think he lowered it.
This is the sort of thing I see. Is all too often I've talked to several fanfiction communities. I've been on several forums, and something that I've seen is, barring space battles and sufficient velocity, there's no real pushback when it comes to shitty work. I can go onto DeviantArt, AO3, Fanfiction.net, WordPress, FictionPress, etc., and I can see the worst fucking story I've ever read. Some of them that have been featured on this podcast. And I can guarantee you there will be at least a 40% review rate of, oh man, this is so good, keep it up, I'm excited, etc., etc., more please.
Indeed.
And I'm not saying that someone can't be like, oh hey, your story might be crap, but I'm looking forward to where you're going with it because I think you have a good idea, good characterization, etc., etc. What I'm saying is that no one is going, hey, you know,
this is bad.
You're kind of forgetting spacing, and that's not how you space out dialogue, and your sentences are choppy. And I'm not saying that you only need to be criticizing. I'm not saying I'm definitely saying you shouldn't only be praising. Now, fair enough, I do leave typically only praise. However, the stories that I read are typically fairly high quality, all things considered. So me going around and being like, oh hey, this part and this part is wrong, it doesn't really happen because the stories that I'm favoriting and leaving reviews on and enjoyably reading don't have them. So there's not much for me as a I guess you could say little bit higher than amateur editor could say. You know, I don't ever claim to have some sort of mastery of the English language. I do, however, claim to be experienced and well-read. Maybe not experienced in editing, but experienced enough to know when a story sounds good, when it reads well. Maybe not enough to change a bad one into a good one, but certainly to tell when they are bad or when they are good. That, at minimum, is what I can do.
Yeah. And I was going to say, just touching on the subject of young adult novels without derailing.
Yeah.
Those are in such a sorry state.
Yeah.
I had, you know, back when Hunger Games came out, I gave it, because everybody was saying it was so great. And I read it.
Yeah.
I read the first book. I read the Hunger Games. And I was like, quite frankly, I don't see what all the hype is about. It wasn't bad by any means, but I was like, this is pretty generic, and I saw all of this coming, more or less.
Yeah.
And a few years later on, a friend of mine in college suggested I should read Defiant. And I actually read all of the Defiant books because I had a burning desire to know, will anything be different? Will this be any different than any other young adult novel? And the answer is no. No, it wasn't. None of it was. And everything, all the reviews I've read, everything anyone's told me about other young adult novels, none of it's been any different. None of it. It's just, person A is that they're either they're pre-selected for greatness, or they're not pre-selected for greatness, but they're amazing anyway. They'll be clumsy, except for whatever reason, all forms of combat. They'll be a very plain-looking individual, but most people will find them quite beautiful. Beautiful enough to switch sides or risk their life for.
He's talking about the Defiant series.
Not just Defiant, but the Yeah, the Divergent. Yes, Divergent. Right.
Yeah,
That's what I was talking about. My apologies. I only remembered I remembered like the last book or whatever. But the Divergent series. But they're all just the same, and the bar is so low, and people just keep
like
buying the same crap.
So I was at my father's.
I'll get off my old man porch now.
I was at my father's a month or two ago, and he told me that he was, thinking about selling the house and moving out, and he wanted me to go through my old library, because it was very much a library. Holy fucking shit! I had like,
yeah, I know what you mean.
too many books.
Yep.
And he wanted me to go through my old library and see what books can I pass on to my little brother or my cousins. What books should he just dump, more or less. There was a series in there that I don't remember reading, but I looked at the spines of those books, and I clearly read them several times, significantly so, and I can't remember doing that in a very long time. I cannot remember the last time I've picked up a book I've previously read, or a fanfiction I've previously read, and said, yeah, you know what, this was good enough to read again. That stopped for me probably before I even got in high school. Because the quality of works that I encountered, it just, thinking back on it now, it was a slow process. I started to reread books less and less, and not just because I had access to more, but because there was no point in rereading them. Once I had read them, the luster of them was gone. There was nothing enjoyable about them left.
Yeah, I haven't reread a book probably since 6th grade, because my brain is quite good at remembering plot details, and I may not remember everything about a given book when I pick it up, but once I get a few chapters in, it starts flashing. It's like, oh, okay, yeah. this, and I'm like, well, there's...
A sign of a good book and a sign of a good story is that you can hear it multiple times or read it multiple times, but still do so because you enjoy the characters or enjoy the world. And, I've read Twilight series, I read the Hunger Games series, I've read all those series, and I just sat there and was like, it's not like they're bad, but by no means would I ever call them good. And I honestly, like Isley said, this is something I do try to get across to some people. I'm not a professional editor, but I'm still able to spend hours ranting about grammatical errors and spelling errors and fucking immense plot holes in a story. And I'm not gonna crush on someone's dreams and be like, oh, you can't write this story because it doesn't make sense. But I am gonna say, please just try. Don't be the sort of person that goes from brain to mouth without a filter. I hate those sorts of people that just blurt out everything on their mind and don't stop to think, be like, hey, maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe I shouldn't write it like this. Maybe I should think ahead of the word I'm currently writing.
Yeah.
And I find too little people do that these days. I find too often in stories, not just fanfiction, in, published books, where it feels incredibly forced because the author forgot something. Because the author completely wrote themselves into a corner because they didn't think ahead.
I was gonna say, I'm probably gonna quote, and this is gonna sound weird, but I'm probably gonna quote one of the greatest authors ever, Dr. Seuss. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing will get better. It won't. I didn't quite get the quote right there, but...
Yeah, no, I get you. Yeah, no, and he does have a point. And that's actually my point when it comes to fanfiction.
That's why I used it. Because while he may have been talking about the environment, it applies to anything. Anything you love, that is mediocre. It's one of the reasons I am so dang picky about my video games, and so dang picky about which ones I continue to give my time to, because there are some that I play over and over again, say Dota, or Overwatch, or XCOM, because those have a lot of inherent replay value, because most things are not ever going to be the same.
Exactly.
But something like Fallout New Vegas, I play again and again and again, because even though at this point I've seen pretty much everything, I've done pretty much everything.
Yeah.
The companions are still fun. The quests are still fun.
The dialogue is great.
The small stories are still fun. I haven't gone back to Fallout 4 in I don't know how long, but just a few weeks ago, I re-downloaded New Vegas and I modded the heck out of it.
Yeah. And I think that like, back to my original point before we finally actually get into the story is, I've talked to, like I said, but I talked to several communities, and I actually personally got a lot of pushback in those communities when I said maybe we should not be telling everyone that they're special and that their story is great and fabulous. And it's something I do on the Discords that I'm on, is there is a fanfiction one that I do dedicate some time to every single day to help people improve their stories. Because I'm not just gonna sit here as if I'm on some fucking pedestal and preach from on high of, oh, you know, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong. I have no problem working with people and make their stories better, but it starts with the community. If the community is gonna look at your story that's riddled with errors and plot holes and shitty characters, and go, oh yes, your story is great, and anyone who gives you any form of criticism is wrong and stupid and sexist and racist and whatever. Because I was actually called all those things, by the way, when I mentioned in some of these fanfiction circles that maybe we should be promoting a higher quality. I got so much pushback from saying, hey, maybe. Not saying you have to only criticize, but I'm just saying maybe include some criticism. Maybe not tell everyone their stories are fucking amazing. You know, because
you know what? If you see something in the story where you're like, that doesn't make sense, or that's not right, or tell the author.
Yeah.
Even if the author disagrees with you, tell them yeah. You have the ability and the right to offer criticism. I'm not going to be like some people out there. I'm not going to say it's a duty. No one has to offer criticism.
Yeah.
You're not breaking some sacred rule by not offering criticism. But people should... If you think something's wrong, tell that person.
Oh my god, Isley.
Oh, what the hell did I say?
Remember, Sneaky, a higher quality means gassing the long-nosed ones.
You want to, Sneaky, you want to time him out for that one? Because he's on the YouTube chat.
Yeah. Yeah, see,
oh
Calvin, there's a fair point. There are a lot of people going, oh, this is terrible and you should fucking burn for it. But I think it is a reactionary movement. I think it is a reactionary movement to the amount of trash that they see. And it is one of the reasons why we started this podcast in the first place. If the bar was higher, and you could click on any fanfiction story on fanfiction.net, and the likelihood that the grammar would be good, the spelling would be good for the language it's in, and there wasn't any glaring plot holes, while you may disagree with the characters or where they're taking the plot, there weren't any fucking holes the size of a Death Star in them. I think a majority of people would see a bad story and move on. But I personally believe at this point in time there has been so much shit floated around in the fanfiction pool that when people see a bad story, well, obviously there are always going to be people who are like, oh my god, this sucks, it should burn. The majority of people now, when they see a bad story, are reactionary and saying, oh my god, this is horrible and should burn. Because they're just so tired of seeing shit. And I can sympathize with that. And when I want to go read some prototype fanfiction or Assassin's Creed fanfiction, whatever your opinions on those fandoms are, or fucking Kingdom Hearts. I don't read Kingdom Hearts, but this is a problem there as well.
No,
I don't want to fucking open up those fandoms.
No one reads Kingdom Hearts anymore because you go into that section. I don't feel, when I was younger. I would go and I would look up cool pictures. I would try to look for cool pictures of Sora for my desktop background. I'm afraid to do that anymore.
No, yeah, exactly. And
even with Safe Search on.
Yeah, this is the thing. Is I go into those sections and it's just fucking gay porn. It's badly written gay porn at that. And I'm not saying
that is perhaps
I'm not
the most
disparaging gay porn here. I'm just saying there is a time and place for everything, and bronies also realize that. They realize there is a time and place for the pictures they passed around to each other. And they cleaned their fucking shit up. They made sure that even with Safe Search off, searching Rainbow Dash ain't gonna get you any fucking porn of Rainbow Dash. And that's what needs to happen here to the rest of the fandoms. The rest of the fandoms need to get their fucking shit together and be like, alright, this is unacceptable. There is a time and place for this sort of thing, and it's not here. There are websites out there dedicated to adult fanfiction, specifically of the pornographic variety. There is websites out there dedicated to, whatever the fuck you want. 3. Fanfiction.net is a place for aspiring writers, hobbyist writers, and children. Not for porn, not for power wanks, in the terms of literally power wanks of, I'm gonna get the Mega Ultra Harem Deluxe 9000. It is a place specifically for K through cursing to be posted. That's it. Not porn, no matter what its variety is. Not a kink, no matter what its variety is. Not your shitty, I'm gonna fuck everyone. Even if I don't describe it, I'm gonna write about romancing every single woman. There's blogs for that. There's Tumblrs for that. There's other websites for that. You come here to fanfiction.net to read romance stories, not porn. To read action stories, not power wanks. To read adventure stories, not whatever the fuck we're probably gonna call this.
And for the record, we're not preemptively bashing this story. We haven't read it. We're not making a judgment about this story. We're talking about everything else out there. We're talking about everything we've shown on Sneaky. What episode is this? This is
episode 70, I believe.
Yeah, on the 70-odd episodes of this podcast that we've done, we're talking about the stuff we found where it's not good. It is not even average. Yeah. It is decidedly below average.
Yeah, exactly, Chrysanthemum. I purposely disclude romance from my filter list these days. Because every romance story these days ends eventually in porn. And I'm just like, I don't want porn. I just want to read the romance story of people doing romantic things together and or fighting a big bad. If I wanted the porn, I'll go search for some fucking porn. That isn't hard to find.
I was gonna say, this is the internet. If I want it, it is a Google search away.
Cal's story?
Your story, by far, was nowhere near even the lowest 30% that I've seen.
I would
In
say,
fact,
heck,
Calvin's
yours
story
was
had a
actually a refreshing concept that I want you to write more of.
I actually got
it had a certain
contacted by
charm.
Stein, and
It had a certain charm to it, honestly.
I got contacted by Stein, of the author of the Darkest Dungeon or High School Story, and he, what's the best word? Gave me condolences that the fact that we enjoyed his story so much because it was legible.
Oh. Yeah.
And I told him, yes, that is exactly why we call ourselves Fanfiction Contempt Theater, because these days I have nothing but contempt for a majority of these fanfictions.
Yeah, like, the first bar that we gotta get over, is it legible? Second bar, does it make us want to puke or tear our hair out or anything else?
We've spent an hour roughly derailed. I've said my piece. Anything
Oh,
you
you
guys
say
else have
being
to add?
tangentially related to the topic at hand.
You know what, Sneaky? I think for it lasting an hour, I think you should pop 2 more counts on the derail count there.
I did.
Okay.
But, yeah. So, it's just...
Okay, but hold on. It's not like this isn't things we didn't need to talk about here.
Yeah.
It's the entire point of our show.
The entire point of our show, where we talk about fanfiction and then tangentially talk about fanfiction.
That inevitably ends up as half-decent advice for, aspiring writers.
And or communities. Don't make us leave this podcast. We will. We'll come for you.
But yeah, so let's get on into it. I don't want to be that guy, but I'm going to be that guy of the probably inevitable. It does say humor, but...
Oh.
Alright, hold on. We've seen humor before.
No, hang on. Isley brings something up about people can only have so much patience.
He was agreeing with my comment about why people are saying this is shit and should burn and should die.
Yeah, that's people are horrible. Remember that.
Yeah.
Just remember, humanity may have been a mistake.
Humanity was always a mistake. Anyway, Chapter 1. A dream is a wish your heart makes. Serena Michaels had never been one of those people that stood out in the crowd. She was quiet in public, a productive member of society with no penchant for secret troubles. She had been a decent student, a reliable co-worker, an all-around good person. She disliked hubbub and hustle, which was why she lived in a small house in the country she had inherited from her grandmother upon her passing. She had her books and her music, and that was quite enough for her. She rather liked to compare herself to Bilbo Baggins in a way. Well, before the fiasco with the dragon, at least. Anyway. I would say at least at that point. The fiasco with the dragon, at least. Because you already said anyway. She couldn't say that she would have followed after Gandalf and the Dwarf Company. Or perhaps she was more like Harry Potter, meek and subservient to a fault, allowing people to walk all over her and use her for their own gains. No, she wasn't a wizard, nor did she have a Dark Lord after her blood, thank you very much. Well, whoever she was most resembled was no matter. What did matter was that the storm that had just started blowing in outside, making her dive back into the country.
Drive, not dive.
Sorry.
She is not diving through solid earth. This is not a mole man story, as interesting as that concept might be. Sneaky?
Yeah, I was just looking at Calvin's comments.
No, sorry, you just quiet. I was like, uh-oh, have we lost Sneaky?
She did not like storms. They were noisy and messy and coarse, and they got everywhere.
Oh, look at the rain! Be in the rain! Yeah.
And they made her yard unkempt and sometimes kept her up at night. See you tomorrow, Tom, she called to the back of the store. She worked in a mom-and-pop general store in their small town. She did not like the hustle of city life, having lived in a medium-sized city growing up. She preferred the quiet boisterousness of the town.
This town. Yeah, and the solitude of her cottage house.
And then the solitude of her cottage house. Drive carefully, Serena, came the muffled reply. Tom was probably going through the inventory again. Serena didn't consider herself a great beauty, but she was no beast either. She was a mixed ethnicity.
See, this line right here. This is exactly what I was complaining about with young adult
Calvin
garbage.
caught on. Calvin caught on to my reference.
Serena didn't consider herself a great beauty, but she was no beast either. She's going to be, she's not pretty, but she's not ugly either, but everybody's still, for some reason, going to fall for her.
She's a mixed ethnicity. See, I dislike pointing out things like skin color. Not because, like, oh, racism or representation, but it's just like the amount of times that's narratively relevant.
Especially when it's one of the first things that the author's bringing it up. Here's what we know. Here's everything. Without moving any farther from these sentences, here's everything we've learned about this character in the first 5 paragraphs, I suppose. We've learned that her name is Serena Michaels. She lives quietly. She lives in a small town. She doesn't like rain.
Yeah.
And now, we've learned that she is like a 5 or a 6 on the attractiveness scale.
Yeah.
And we know that she is of
her personal opinion.
Yes, okay. I'm just saying, since we currently she has not been established as an unreliable narrator, and we have no conflicting opinions, we will consider her average or slightly above.
Chrysanthemum says too many main character opinions, not enough narrative landscaping. Yeah, that was something I was going to comment on. It is a lot of her this, her opinion on that, her this, her this, her this, her this. If you wanted to set up the world or the area she could have had, Tom, her walking back to her car after a day of work. Or Tom calling, be careful out there. And, she chuckles to herself, what's going to happen in this small, quiet town,
Yeah. Also, go ahead, sorry.
And Calvin says, would it be acceptable if the main character is normal looking and 2 girls would fall for him, not because of how he looks, but of how he is? It's happened before. Fucking hell, it happened to me.
I was gonna say, I have no problem with that, but I'm saying based on the way this is going, and specifically the way that the author is describing this, that it is currently ringing true of a young adult trope.
And Isley does bring up the important point of bringing up race or sexual orientation does tend to, these days, induce an instinctual cringe. Just like when I hear people use the words trigger or problematic. I realize those are actual words that have actual meanings behind them. But certain groups have used them to excess.
Yes.
And that is, like I was saying before, is I dislike both race and ethnicity and sexual orientation being brought up beyond just one-off throwaways. Not because I'm like, not because I'm like, but because it's like, what narrative value does this give us?
I was going to say, very often it doesn't matter in the slightest. I mean, hell, I was rereading the Wheel of Time books, one of the only book series I've found worth my time to go back and reread. And there's a character who's in love with who's obviously in love with another character. Obviously, no, they're in love with me. All me. I'm so beautiful. And I was rereading carefully, and I was like, oh, hey, he just mentioned that she's got ebon skin. I guess she's black. I'd never noticed before, because it functionally didn't matter to the story. It was, the only reason it was brought up was because the character was using it to describe her. Because he was trying to find her. It's one of those things that narratively, unless you are specifically writing something like, say, Uncle Tom's Cabin, where race is going to be a primary focus.
Exactly. Like, if it's like, if, for example, take, the Elder Scrolls, for example. ethnicity would be pretty fucking important if it's, you know, a fucking red guard in the middle of Cyrodiil. It's like, oh, hey, you don't fucking see that every day.
Yeah, I would say bringing up race in a series like that, and indeed in many fantasy series where there's differences, is important. Like if you're in generic fantasy setting A, and it's a human village, oh, but it's like, oh, but there goes, I don't know, give me an elf name, Sneaky. Whatever. Elfie
Lysandra.
Yeah. There goes Lysandra. She's the village healer, and she has been, you know, since before my parents were alive.
Yeah, exactly.
She's an elf, and she's been a fixture of the town for hundreds of years, and will be for hundreds more. That's something that's important to bring up, because it's establishing that the person is different.
But what's the... Zeke says, it says the character is straight, sometimes when they learn they're gay 20 chapters in. What the fuck's the point? Why do we need to know they're gay? We'll figure out they're gay or straight pretty fucking quickly when they start smooching X-person, you know? But what's the point in bringing it up? Unless you're going to be talking about that
they describe themselves in a mirror. I suppose that is true for
Santa's right. It's not young adult till they describe themselves in a mirror. I wouldn't even know how to go about pronouncing it, so yeah, probably Calvin. Fair enough, Zeeks. That's fair enough, but, you know. The good thing about fanfiction for that specific opinion is that if it's a gay character, they do typically make it quite clear in the first chapter when they start having sex with another straight character who is now gay.
Yeah.
that is one thing I can say about homosexual fanfiction.
And we're not saying, oh, we don't want to read gay stories because it's about gay people and we don't like them. No, but you know what? If I come to, I don't know, the Mass Effect section, looking for a romance story, which there's plenty of those to find.
Shepard's basically a bard personified.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and I want to read about Shepard and Tally.
Yeah.
I am looking for something that I can identify. In this case, male Shepard and Tally. I'm not looking for friendship and Tally, because A, that's not canon. Sorry to break that one to you.
That is true. Yeah.
Go ahead and find Liara. But you know, it's not something that I'm looking for. Similarly, even if I'm looking for Liara and Shepard, not that I often go looking for romance, but if I do, you know, if I'm looking at a Liara and Shepard, I want to know early on. Oh,
Shepard,
is this
Jack,
male Shep or...
I suppose there might be those people out there.
Certainly not a bad one.
Anyway, yeah, we've made our point. Let's get back into it. I want to move on to this story.
No, we can do one of those where we spend the entire podcast on it.
Yeah, and then I go fucking commit suicide afterwards.
Please, you haven't done that yet.
And Shepard chimes Jack O'Neill. I don't see that happening. I see Jack too much of a ladies man, or self-styled ladies man.
I was gonna say, if his dance moves indicate anything, he is not a ladies man.
Indeed, Jack Carter. Anyway, welcome, Demars. Thank you for no longer lurking if you have not just joined us, but if you have just joined us, buckle up, sit down, and get ready for mixed ethnicity lurks in Lord of the Rings.
I was going to say, and further cementing my point, I read ahead a little bit. The author is bringing up race for exactly the reasons I hoped they wouldn't be.
Oh boy. Alright, let's get into it.
You'll see what I mean as soon as you
with
get
more curves than a country road. So what, she's excessively fat?
Yeah, I was going to say, what does more curves than a country road mean if this is a supposedly average... Here's the thing. You've established that this is, according to you, according to the narrator, an average-looking woman.
Our picking process, the Mars, is that we have a giant roulette reel, and we spin the wheel, and then we pick that fiction, and reread it. Sometimes it's a good one. Sometimes it's a bad one. Sometimes we just want to drink bleach and kill ourselves. You never know.
I need to do that with my Steam library for when I actually do stream shit and you guys are in the background helping me keep my sanity. No, the roulette wheel. I don't know.
Now live committing Sudoku! Ugh.
But no, hang on. Can I get the bleach flavored as something else?
Pumpkin.
Yes. Available this September only. Pumpkin spice latte.
Fuck you. Get enough of that shit from Starbucks. Fuck you.
Can we see the roulette? Okay. No, Twitch is just saying it shut down.
No, you're still live for me.
Give it a few seconds.
Calvin, the joke with committing Sudoku is seppuku is ritual suicide.
As you say, in English.
And Sudoku is a mathematical puzzle. And so people make fun of weebs.
Commit suicide.
That too. But specifically people say it to make fun of the more weebish variety of Japanese fans, yeah. I wasn't sure if that translated through properly. The main character is black. Let's see if it takes a full page before the stereotypical racist Southerner shows up. Yeah.
But we're not here to judge it by cover. We're here to judge it by its terrible, terrible writing. And like I was saying, you have a supposedly average woman, but who's incredibly curvy. You are now contradicting yourself in one of two ways, because...
Well, hey! Maybe she's curvy in the fact that she's got lots of hills and valleys in the form of fat rolls.
No, but that's what I was about to say.
That or...
Well,
here's the thing, Atin. It might be more of beauty of the face, not necessarily of the body, though. I know people who differentiate between the two. Like, great body, ugly face. I'm sorry, Atin. That is the thing that exists down here. I'm sorry to burst your Yankee bubble.
I'm not saying it isn't. I'm just saying that it's something that immediately, at minimum, comes across as contradictory.
She's proud of her sensuous lips. Oh God.
No, that's not someone making fun of that. That is. That's written in the story.
As far as the Demars and Calvin about the picking process, we will take recommendations. We will also take volunteerism. So if you want to volunteer your story to appear, we will do it.
Might take a while, but
yeah. But otherwise, I go around. Previously I went around and went through the first 4 pages of every section we were going to cover, and just picked the ones that I thought we could talk about that were more than just generically good or generically bad. As for enjoyed the follow, thank you very much. But so when it comes to actually picking what we're going to read next, I do just kind of close my eyes and just randomly scroll down the list and click.
We're working on constructing a roulette wheel.
Zeke's, however, does have a program that we will use around episode 200 when we run out of the current list.
200 seems like a low ball.
Anyway, as long as Twitch keeps spasming out, I'm going to keep assuming that you never can hear me, and I'll just continue on like normal. She blamed her mother for her Coke bottle curves, and for her thick, kinky hair.
Can you just read it like
now you're just making it worse
please?
On purpose.
Her mother had been wild-spirited, proud black woman. Her father was a mild-mannered accountant, white as a driven snow. So black? No, because, like, snow that's been driven on is pretty fucking brownish blackish.
No, Sneaky, driven snow is not referring to snow that's been driven on.
How am I supposed to know that?
You lived in Vermont!
Meant to say, I think she meant the author meant to write the driven snow, not a driven snow. Like, wait, have you never heard that? Like, why does the driven snow? Have you never heard that saying?
No, never heard it.
You lived in Vermont!
And?
More than that, you are one of the most well-read people I have ever met with the sheer amount of literature you have ingested over the years.
You're deafening
How have
people.
you never run into...
Hey, DeMars is backing me up here. They're in Canada, and they've never heard of driven snow.
Yeah, you also speak French up there.
Okay,
which is
hang
the
on.
wrong
I'm sorry.
language.
Out of 2 Yanks in this chat currently, only one of you has heard "Why Does the Driven Snow?"
I mean, I live in Chicago. We get weather at all time. Oh, it's that middle of summer. Time for a snowstorm.
I'm glad you agree.
Excellent.
Anyway, let's keep going, because I'm sure I'm gonna find too many problems by the end of this paragraph. She was never quite sure how they had fallen in love. Maybe they really liked each other. Maybe they had a
Yeah, I was
fetish
gonna
for
say,
people.
I'm not sure how they fell in love. Well, that seems pretty fucking rude to your parents, yo.
That's actually racist. Oh, my mother's so black and free-spirited, my father's so fucking white and mild-mannered. How could they ever fall in love?
Yo,
Maybe
your father
because they
wanted someone
did?
to spice up his life, and maybe your mother wanted someone to bring some stability and some grounding.
Oh.
I got news for you. My dad was Mr. Random, and my mom was absolutely not. And they fell in love.
Snow that has been freshly fallen. Yeah, it's fresh snow. That's what you... White as fresh snow. What the fuck is driven have to do with anything? Fuck the English language.
As pure as... No, you know what? Fuck you. Fuck you. I've gone to dictionary.com for this.
I'm at thefreedictionary.com.
Fuck you both.
This simile dates from the late 1500s, although driven, which means carried by the wind into drifts, was occasionally omitted. It is, in his defense, it is heard left often today. However, dictionary.com has my back here.
Yeah, well, dictionary.com can blow my dick.
It's also apparently the 15th episode of the 6th season of The Mentalist.
Who cares?
Okay, that's cool.
I do. I'm gonna go look at episode 15. Fuck you.
Oh my
You
god.
can't stop me.
She was the result of their union, their only child. What the
result of their...
Who the fuck calls their parents having sex and giving birth to you union?
A person writing a young adult novel, that's who.
That is a fair enough statement. She felt like she got her mother's assets and her father's attitude. It was a strange, discomforting mix for her.
What, you have a problem with being meek and mild-mannered? The meek shall inherit the earth.
Oh no, I'm too meek to be this hot. What?
Sounds more like you're too much of a bitch to be that ugly.
Wow, okay. I'm glad I never fell much into young adult novels outside of the Hardy Boys.
Also, yeah, DeMars does bring up
Brothers.
a good point in that as pure as driven snow does reference purity, not whiteness.
No, but Sneaky, it's associated with purity because it's about snow that's been piled into drifts. It's a big pile of clean, pure, white snow. That's why purity is associated with driven snow.
But the phrase is more often than not used to refer to purity, not the color itself.
Yeah, I know, but I
realize the implied... Yes, I understand that, but I'm just saying...
Okay,
yeah.
Just as long as you understand why it's associated with it.
Yeah. Anyway. She usually wore her cloud of curly hair braided back to the base of her skull, and then pulled into a fluffy ponytail. It was easy to maintain. You know what's easier to maintain than whatever the fuck you just described? Shaving your hair.
I was gonna say, I am a very fortunate individual. My hair, I love my hair, because I can wake up, I get in the shower, I dry my hair, and for whatever reason, it just naturally falls off to the right. Like, seriously, no, the compromise for this is, I can do nothing else with my hair. It goes one direction. It goes to the right. Only to the right. But it takes zero maintenance on my part. It's wonderful.
Isley's talking about racial purity again.
Oh my god.
Seriously, you keep this up, we're gonna time you out, boy. Give it a rest.
Anyway.
We don't want to get banned from Twitch because of your chat.
It was easy to maintain and simple to do. Her eyes were plain and brown. Her eyebrows were thick and arched like her mother's. Her one secret pride was her lips. You don't sound fucking meek!
Yeah.
Meek people don't go, oh damn, I look good!
She had gotten her father's arched upper lip and her mother's...
You are aware how, like, horribly wrong you sound to me right now, right?
Oh?
This is... Sneaky, when you are an actually meek person, there are going to be parts of yourself that you're going to still take pride in. Taylor was the same way. She took it from Worm. She took immense pride in her hair, but she was very much a meek person.
I realize that. However, the problem here is she's not taking pride in just one thing. She's like, oh man, I got curves, I got the hair, I got the lips, my eyebrows are thick.
She's taken pride in one of those things.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so far she's taking pride in her...
From the way they described it, it sounds like she's taking pride in a whole lot of her body.
Then you need to reread the two things.
Yeah.
She blamed her mother. She inherited her mother's assets and her father's attitude. It was a strange, discomforting mix.
That's not someone who's happy with that situation.
In fact, she doesn't even take... honestly, she's not even saying... her one secret pride was her lips. That is the only thing that she apparently takes pride in her appearance. That doesn't make her uncomfortable.
Then I have a problem with how they phrase the rest of it. Like...
Sneaky, you have a problem with how anyone phrases anything.
This is true facts.
Like... You would argue with yourself if there was a clone of you.
I probably would.
God, I was gonna say, my god, that is one thing I'd like to do. Put two sneakies in a room and see how fast they kill each other.
I want to put that on stream. Just 24/7, sneaky versus sneaky. They'll either take over the world or kill each other over the next week.
Indeed.
Next week, that's generous.
Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I'm willing to give them
moisture
maybe if we emptied the room of any and all semi-lethal objects, including blunt ones.
Yeah.
The moisture in the air didn't help her hair sit flat as she walked briskly to her sensible sedan. What?
Okay.
Hoping not to encounter the rain, her relief was palpable when she shut the door with a thud, pushing the keys into the ignition and firing up the car.
Alright, so this is just a problem I've been having for a while. First of all, the author is taking 10 words when we need 3.
Yeah.
Second of all...
So young adult. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, A, young adult. B, they are trying really, really hard. They're trying real hard to evoke the Hobbit vibe here. And it's not working.
I see where you're coming from with that, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna admit, I actually...
Go ahead.
I find young adult writers adorable little things, so I'm gonna teach you guys a Southernism real quick.
Oh boy.
If a Southerner ever says, bless your little heart, that's a nice way of saying, you're kind of stupid, ain't you?
Oh, I'm aware.
Bless this author's little heart. Like, I appreciate the effort that they put into it, but come on, you're writing for young adults.
I'll tell you the northern version of that, Max. Oh, poor thing, it's retarded.
I was gonna say, then there's the Chicago version. Get away from me. We're more blunt up here.
I thought that was a pretty universal thing in Chicago. Get away is get away, or you're stupid, or get the hell out of my face, so on and so forth.
Canadians are the same. Oh,
I was gonna say, Chicago has many, many ways to tell you that you're being stupid.
There's several of them involve being shot.
Look, it's like the Mandalorian language. There's an inextricable link between stupid and gunshot wounds.
She tried her best.
What was it, like 26? What was it, 26 words for stab? Or something?
Oh no, they have over 100 words for stabbing.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it was over 100. I think we only
Hold
got
on, I'm gonna try and pronounce some German. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
See, hot sick mir gigabun.
Oh dear lord.
See, hot sick muhe.
I'm not trying. I'm not good at butcher German.
Gigabun.
I haven't looked.
I'm
I
not
haven't
gonna butcher
studied German
German
in actual years. So
close. I don't know. That says something about Sneaky, or it says something about German.
German at all. Thank you, Chris, for being brutally honest with that. Oh.
Alright.
Holy crap.
Little town, such a quiet village, every day like the one before. She sang quietly to herself as she backed out of her parking spot. The rain started as she pulled out of the town limits, starting her 20-minute drive home. Really? Is that how you judge how far away your home is? Once I leave the town, then it's 20 minutes? You know, I'd be like, it's a 25-minute drive. You know, from when I started the car.
You don't do that?
What the fuck is wrong with that bee?
What?
The fuck is wrong with that bee?
Well, where's the...
Which bee?
Yeah.
The nigger German bin.
Oh my god.
That was the sound of my forehead hitting the table.
Oh, you guys are hearing the channel completely collapse in on itself, and it's slowly being deleted off of the server.
God damn it! Come on.
It sounds like Hitler. Sticky is Hitler reincarnated. But I feel that's what Americans speaking German always sound.
Oof, let me say that.
To be fair, that is a fair point.
I've seen much worse on other channels. We're fine. That doesn't mean we want to sink to their level. That's like saying, oh, look, it's like when I'm in Chicago. Well, I haven't killed anyone, so I'm much better than the average Chicago resident. That's not a bar I'm proud of.
I mean, if we're gonna take this to the logical extreme, it's like Hitler saying, well, I'm not Stalin. Come on.
Anyway.
When the hell was the last time I looked at... God, I think... Oh, it's been almost like a decade.
The only word I know how to say is Flammenwerfer, because it really werfers my Flammen.
Sneaky, you're forgetting the most important German word. Nine.
9999999.
That's not a valid phone number.
It is in Germany.
Your German accent always comes through when you speak English. Well, yes, I wonder why, Calvin.
Maybe it's because he's German.
Possibly.
I thought he was Austrian.
See, I find it amusing.
Joke!
I find it amusing that when it's like, oh, you know, blank person trying to speak English, it's like, oh, they have a blank country accent. But if it's someone who speaks English trying to speak another language, it's just shitty German.
Calvin apparently wants to try.
There's no American or British accent when you're speaking other languages. It's just shitty version of that language.
Oh, specifically, Chris, American English speakers think accents are great.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I was gonna say, listen, for whatever reason, in America, just about any accent is the equivalent of a built-in aphrodisiac.
That's because, you know, there are so many accents to be found. Great for, that's one of the cool things about being in a melting pot. get all kinds of accents that just kind of mash together. Anyways, do we want to let Calvin try and say this sentence on stream, or?
I mean, is he willing to go for it?
Yeah, he seems to. He's typed in both in the Twitch chat and the Discord. Let me try to say this sentence.
All right, yeah. So,
All right,
Calvin,
well then, hop into general.
Hop into general.
Hop into general. One of us will drag you in.
Golden girls in English.
Then we'll immediately throw you out. Just toss you out the door.
All right. In the meantime, while we wait for Calvin to get in here, we'll keep going.
There he is. I'll drag him.
There he is.
There we go.
You have to unmute yourself. Wait, can I forcibly unmute him? No, I
No.
can't.
We can server mute him though, and he'll never be able to speak again.
Yeah, I know, but I was like, oh, do we have forcible unmuting powers?
No,
Be great.
we don't. That would be way too much power. I think just the ability to be able to change people's nicknames is already too powerful.
Oh my god, what the fuck did you send me, Atin?
What? Where?
Read, nigga, read. No, I won't.
You have to look at the title. It's when you tell players to learn their spells. He's holding the 5th edition handbook.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Shit, hold on, let me, I'll temporarily give him...
No, what's going on?
Are people unable to speak in the server?
Yeah, no, people are unable to speak in the, that's weird. We dragged Ricky in here.
Yeah, what did you say? We dragged Ricky in here? Well, Ricky
Ricky's
is a
a
mod.
mod.
No. But we dragged...
No, everyone
Seffi
can
in here.
speak in here, they just can't join it, so that's Calvin muting himself.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because remember, we dragged Seffi in here.
Yeah. So, Calvin, you're muting yourself. You need to unmute yourself. I'm not oppressing you. This is you're oppressing yourself.
He figured it out! Everybody clap!
He found the button.
Alright,
Now the question
so Calvin,
is,
hit us with your best.
I'm starting to think his mic doesn't work.
I'm sorry. I'm starting to think we're having some technical difficulties here.
Oh boy.
Is Discord picking up your mic? Alright, you know what?
Oh, live on stream. Oh boy.
You know what? We're just gonna
embarrassing?
leave. We're gonna just leave Calvin in here, and whenever he figures out his mic, he could just blurt out a string of German, and we'll immediately kick him. In the meantime, let's keep going with the story.
So I just got a report in from Twisted Light. Apparently, after us featuring his story on the stream, he got 100 new people reading it, 4 people following it, and 1 favorite.
Wait, 100 people?
Yeah.
That our audience size does not reflect that.
No, well, no, that's not true.
Me thinks we're being lied to.
Making a number of views off stream. Once the stream is over, once it's a VOD, the numbers have been ticking up into the 10 recently.
That is true.
So, it is possible.
And we do make a significant number of people who pop in and out, so...
Yeah. And, again, word of mouth also helps, so it's like, I heard about this from this stream, check this story out, and they link the story to other places.
Yeah, indeed.
So...
100 is unrealistic. Thanks. Love you too.
Just way to stab me in the heart, Sex. Thanks.
I step away from her a minute, and what are you guys doing now? Something about German. Yeah, Isley,
Something about German.
Calvin's gonna be speaking German words at us, and English words at us. But,
if he ever figures out how to make his mic
But
work.
his mic's a bit unreliable right now, so...
Yeah.
Try the gear. Try the gear by the mute button.
Everyone
Calvin.
press F to pay respects to Calvin's inability to use microphones.
Alright, push comes to shove, I guess I could run technical service, but...
Oh, we're not doing that.
No.
You're gonna
Why
remote
not?
into a computer in Germany. Good luck with that one.
I'll just turn, my VPN on, and that way he'll think I'm from Germany too. That's how that works, right?
I mean, you don't even have the title in the stream 90% of the time. Yeah, this is true. We don't actually have the title in the stream most of the time. Which I mean, well, I don't know. Anyway, words. Let's get back to it. She didn't normally listen to the radio on her drive home, preferring the silence. But the sound of the rain was distracting, so she decided to turn on some kind of music. She pressed the button on her radio, waiting for the sound of the static. Nothing. Making a soft noise of annoyance, she glanced down, pushing the button harder. She was disappointed again. It happened so quickly. She glanced back up to the road, abandoning her radio. One moment the road was clear, the next he appeared as if from nowhere. She screamed, turned the wheel, and slammed on the brakes. But Slenderman ripped her out of her car and took her
Hold
away.
on a minute. Damn it, you ruined it. I was going to make a text and driving PSA joke, you bastard.
I hate both of you. For the record, I hate you both in this instant. Calvin has currently exited. He might be going to restart his computer, perhaps.
It's possible.
He may have given up.
It's also possible he may have given up.
Okay.
No, let the poor man try to work in general in peace.
But
No.
Kann mich jetzt irgendjemand hören?
All right, we've got our German.
We got
Out
German.
he goes.
Excellent.
Ja,
Yeah.
wunderbar. Hello. About fucking time.
Holy
There
shit.
you go.
It sounds like you're killing someone.
Come here, you
High quality.
Yeah, wow, he is really loud. I turned him down to 40 and he's still loud. Jiminy Christmas trees.
Alright, so say your English and
Okay.
German sentence for us.
Okay, so, the sentence is she tried her best and it is sie hat sich Mühe gegeben.
Well, all right.
That
There
didn't
we
sound
go.
that Hitlery at all.
No, but it certainly sounded like
sound
you were
Hitlery at
consulting
all.
with Cthulhu.
Boy,
Cthulhu, go back.
the German language is just something else to listen to sometimes.
Oh, it is.
That's because it's the angry. This is no offense to the German people. You guys have the angriest sounding language ever.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, Atin. It's also simultaneously, like, the most fun sounding.
I'm not denying
Yes,
that.
sometimes.
It's a weird balance that they struck, and they struck it well.
Well, they certainly strike people.
Yeah.
Ah!
Alright,
Ah!
Alright, thanks
Oh.
thanks for the German and English, Calvin.
Okay,
yeah, we're gonna pop you back into general.
okay.
Oh, well, you can do it too.
Uh,
What? Did somebody drag him over, or did
I
he
did.
just do it himself?
I did.
I think he did it himself. Anyway, moving on with this pile of garbage. By the way, Sneaky, despite your efforts to prevent it, we're 20 minutes from the end of the show and we're still on this one story.
Fuck you, we're going live.
I told you!
We always do it live. What? What?
What? We'll do it live. We're already doing it live?
We'll do it liver.
Liver.
I don't know how. Fuck you and read the story.
And she still managed to clip him with her left headlight. Her car swerved and came to a stop.
Hold on! Her left headlight? What kind of abnormal, freakish car design is this? Clipping him with the left headlight.
Yeah, you know, it just stuck out.
Listen,
Swerved and came to a stop.
I don't know
and-
of any sedan design where the headlights are like mounted on L brackets on the side or something.
For a long
Hang
moment,
on.
she could not breathe, holding onto the wheel so tightly her knuckles were pale. She turned off the car, threw open her door, and scrambled out. He was lying on his back on the grass, having been knocked down by the force of her car. With a cry, she fell to her knees next to him, tears mixing with the rain. He was breathing, but he was clutching his side. He was an older man, dressed in dark gray robe. Did she just fucking hit Gandalf?
Of course she did.
Christ.
Also-
She had hit a priest or a monk?
Hold
had-
on a minute! Hold on a minute! Where in America is this happening that you think you've hit a monk?
He had a long white beard bound in the middle with a piece of bearded twine. His hair,
Bearded twine, not bearded twine.
his hair was long, iron gray, and thick. His gray eyebrows were bushy and drawn into a grimace. I'm not sure eyebrows can grimace, but okay.
Okay, like I
Shit,
said,
Radagast.
what part of America... What, shit, Radagast, there we go. First of all, what part of America is it where you think there's a monk?
My other problem with this is I've seen people do this several times. Oh, they were clipped by the car. Okay, a car going roughly country road 45 miles an hour. Most people ignore that. Go around 50 to 60. A car clipping someone at 50 to 60 miles per hour in freedom units for you troglodytes. Yeah, that's gonna hurt someone.
Even if you slam on the brakes, assuming that you're going, it's a backcountry road. Max, what's the average speed limit on one of the back roads in Georgia?
There's no posted speed limit on most back roads if it's gravel.
Yeah.
If it's a common back road, anywhere 25 if it's heavy residential, up to 55 if it's light residential.
Yeah.
Well, based on the way this has been described, it's light residential. So
Probably 55 minimum then if there's no posted limit.
Yeah.
I think that's the law in Georgia actually. 55 for non-posted residential areas.
Now, since we don't have a state, we'll use Georgia as an example. But so let's say you're going 55. Now, she clearly wasn't paying attention to the road, as we learned, because she was trying to turn on the radio. Now, she looks up. She's going to have, at most, 5 seconds to react to a human being on the road if she notices him real early.
Yeah.
You slam on the brakes. First of all, it's raining, so that is drastically harming your ability to brake.
Yeah, by the way, Calvin, that is around 100 kilometers per hour.
Well, yeah, that's actually just shy of it. It was 1.6 kilometer to the mile, I think. So 100 kilometers, about 62.5 miles, give or take.
But
yeah, it's a good, like, clip someone at that speed. They will survive more often than not. They're not going to have a good day.
I was going to say,
it's like when we were writing our story, and we had Havel clip someone with the Dragon Slayer Great Bow. Clipping someone with that still did a significant amount of damage.
I believe we had Havel nick someone, but that nick just happened to be their entire shoulder.
Yeah.
I was going to say, here's the thing. This is a car.
Yeah.
Even taking into account the fact that this may be a modern-day sedan, this is still a multi-ton vehicle. This is going... We'll be generous. We'll say she'd shed 15 miles an hour before she clipped Gandalf.
I would say raining 5, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we're being generous here. You know what?
Depending on how good her brakes are, though, she actually could go from 60 to 0.
It's a sedan.
In about 2.
I would say this is a sedan, not a performance vehicle. On a wet road.
Is this point worth crazy mathematics?
To prove this author's an idiot? Yes.
But anyway, the point
being...
But
what if it proves that we're the idiots?
The point being, clipping someone at 20 miles per hour, clipping them...
Can shatter bones.
Can shatter bones. That's at half the speed that's typically posted. And like I said, people typically go over that posted speed, especially if it's on a backcountry road.
Yes, Gandalf is a magic being. But as we've seen... unless he's enacting actual defensive magic, he's about as frail as a normal human.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, I'm not saying, like, oh, you know, Gandalf should be, like, fucking splattered. But, you know, still clipping, like... good luck having bones in the area that was hit. Especially if it's a clip. Because the thing is when you hit someone... misconception here. When you're going to be hit by a car, what you want to do is jump. Because that will distribute the force to the rest of your body instead of specifically just your legs.
Yeah.
But it is actually better to be hit dead on. So you can redistribute the force that is transferred to you into the hood of the car. Than it is to be clipped by the car. Because then the force is completely inside you. It's spinning you around, it's hitting you directly, the force isn't going anywhere but into you. And that's going to leave you with far more lasting, damaging injuries.
Gandalf is MCU Thor in this fic. That'd be an interesting plot twist, I agree. But yeah, our bottom line here is, even with Gandalf being quote-unquote a magic being, as we've seen with all of them. Because bear in mind, this isn't even powered up Gandalf at this point. Yeah. This is good old Gandalf the Grey. This is the Gandalf who has to be careful not to get stabbed.
Indeed. Oh, did we lose Dimax? I think we did.
We might have.
What's up? What?
We might have lost the Max.
Ah, well.
What?
Not you.
Not you, a different Max.
Oh.
Oh, here we go. From Isley. Speaking as someone who has been clipped by a speed of around 55, I can safely say that old man would be knocked on his ass with a really fucking sore shoulder, bare minimum.
Yeah. That's the issue is that saying I was clipped by a vehicle is unfortunately very broad. Like, I know I actually do know someone. They got clipped by a car. They didn't have to go to the hospital, but boy, were they icing for like 3 days.
It also really depends on if it's a surprise or not. Because if you're moving out of the way, that force is going in other directions. But if you're just like standing in the middle of the road and you get clipped, that force is going straight into you.
Snaky, if you're standing in the middle of the road, you're not getting clipped, you're getting full-on fucking smacked.
No, because someone like this author, like the driver here, can react and do their best to miss you.
Yeah, I know, in which case the driver would be swerving.
Yeah.
Like,
Point
context is
being,
important here.
I dislike this kind of writing, specifically because the injury that you can sustain from being clipped by a high-speed vehicle is wildly from fucking soreness to, oh, I don't have legs anymore.
Or at least functioning legs.
Yeah, that's... Welcome to the human body. That's...
Alright, gotta go.
It's
Alright,
anatomy in a
so see you,
nutshell.
Calvin. Have fun being in
Bye,
Germany.
Cal.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna leave it there. Can you hear me? Blah blah blah. Oh my god. Can you hear me, sir? She asked. He opened his eyes, and she was struck by how beautifully blue they were.
That's not creepy.
Blah blah
Yeah,
blah.
I'm gonna
Take
say,
you to
you
a
just
hospital.
hit someone with your car. You should not be trying to initiate a Dresden-style soul gaze.
Indeed. Nay, child, I've been hurt by worse. I don't recall any situations
Alright,
right
excuse
now.
me. If this is supposed to be Gandalf, go to hell. Gandalf doesn't talk like that.
Yeah.
The
her
only
a
time
small
he
smile.
ever talked like that was when he was literally fresh off the, I don't know, angel machine as Gandalf the White. And that changed about 20 seconds after after he was reminded that he's Gandalf. Gandalf is and tries to be someone who connects with the average human being. He doesn't live in a big, dark tower. He goes out amongst the people.
Don't you know, Chrysanthemum? Secretly, all young adult novel writers are racial purists, and they believe the Aryan race is the pure one. And blue eyes is clearly a sign of beauty.
Please stop saying that.
I'm not wrong, though! The young adult novels always have potential beautiful people with fucking blue eyes, and they always comment, oh, how deep and blue and glistening and, you know, etc. those blue eyes are.
Snaky, you're aware blue is like the foremost eye color that people have some sort of attraction to, right? That's a human thing. It's-
Look, anyway, moving on from this nonsense.
Is there someone I can call? Do you need a hospital? I'm a wanderer, no anchor. I need no healer. Holding his chest, a wanderer. Does that mean he's a hippie? Perhaps she was correct. Oh, yeah, speaking of how she knows about Bilbo Biggins, but she doesn't know about fucking what Gandalf looks like.
No, okay, hold on. The idea that you would immediately recognize someone. We haven't seen any mention of the staff. He doesn't seem to have a sword.
Okay.
So right now,
okay.
it's raining. It's raining. She just hit him.
Yeah.
She's clearly not in
Fair
her
enough.
like.
However, Gandalf is a pretty distinct look. You know, it's not like, oh, it's one of those characters from the Japanese animes, you know, that looks like a normal person. No, it's fucking Gandalf. He's got the distinctive beard.
Well-
He's got the distinctive robes. He's got the distinctive hat. You know,
Man, if I ran over Gandalf, I'd be like, ah, shit, I just hit a senior LARPer.
at minimum, make the connection of, oh, are they cosplaying as Gandalf? Like,
Yeah. That's...
Isley is saying that Fairy Tale Dragon Slayer may or may not be a Nazi because he's always mentioning how beautiful blue eyes and blonde hair is.
Confirmed, Naruto is a Nazi.
Just... Like, I want to say something, but I'm just done defending basic human shit and cultural shit for the night. I'm done.
So what you're telling me is you condone the idea of the Leaf Reich?
No. They can go burn for all I fucking care.
We must make a new Leaf Reich.
Make the Leaf Village great again.
Make Konoha great again.
Build the wall. Keep out the snakes.
They do have a big wall, and they do keep a lot of people out.
Until a giant snake comes along.
Well, I mean, yes. Let's see. Let me at least tend to you for the night. Who the fuck says that?
Okay,
nobody goes. Oh,
that
I
is
this person.
So out of this character's like the way they've been talking.
Like, oh, poor sir, I'm sorry I've hit you. Let me tend to you for this night. I'd be like,
what?
Hey, do you want me to, like, bring you home at least? Give you a meal?
Yeah, I was gonna be like,
yeah,
I'd be like, the least I can do is like, let you. I'd be like, the least I can do is let you crash at my place. You can get a shower, shave.
Yeah,
I'll order pizza or something.
Let me tend to you. Gazoon tight, bitch. Anyway, this is us just making fun of it at this point, because it's so young adulty. It's just like, everything wrong about young adult they're currently doing, cease.
We will continue to mock them for this, too,
yeah,
while skipping some stuff over.
That's both out of character and awkward as hell, yeah, more or less.
Well, I just read a little bit further ahead. I think I'm done trying to figure out what this author's doing.
Oh boy! All right, so let me tend to you, Leaf. What is the young adult fascination with this? She would never understand where that came from or what possessed her to say it, but she would admit.
Whoa! Hold on. Where the hell did you go?
Let me tend to you for the night. But she would admit it was comforting to see the relief in the blue eyes of the old man.
Yes. Okay.
What is with this fascination? Like, okay, look, I took technical writing classes as a IT major. We were taught, and I understand this doesn't exactly translate the best to writing works of fiction, we were taught to say the most in the least. Unless the eyes being blue are pertinent to this specific situation, then don't talk about the blue eyes, talk about their eyes.
Or at least mention the dragon part.
And this is I feel personally, this is a personal opinion of mine.
Thanks, Max.
Not gained from experience.
I'm sorry, I zoned out a bit. So, like, I've been on a Yu-Gi-Oh! Binge recently, so I just heard Blue Eyes and Dragon. I'm like, wait, we moved it. No, blank still on this shitty story.
This is a personal opinion of mine. Do try to use the least amount of words to say the most.
Listen.
There's a time and place for description.
If you're trying to make everything a big, eloquent description, people will go, boy, this is boring. I'm gonna skip over this. But if you save those big, grand set piece descriptions for the things you really want to drive home, people will remember that. Like, let's take the normal Lord of the Rings for example. When I'm just reading about them going through the landscape, Tolkien doesn't take 4 paragraphs to describe the hills of Rohan to me. He says it's some hilly country with a bunch of grass.
Yeah.
And everybody knows what that looks like.
Oh, but boy, did he describe Rivendell.
Yeah, I was just saying, but when he gets to Rivendell, Minas Tirith, Helm's Deep, the Forest of Mirkwood, things that he wants to drive the impression of these things home, there he takes his time to describe it. And you read most of it, not all of it, admittedly, but you read most of it because you haven't spent the past 30 pages going, oh, when will the description end?
Indeed. Isley says, remember, she's also supposed to be meek, indeed. Let me tend to you, blue eyes, little man. I will not turn that down. Where's the horse for your carriage? Look, Gandalf would be confused by modern technology, but he is socially aware enough to learn about it in a way that doesn't make him seem weird.
Now, to be fair, he could have just arrived, and he did just get his bell rung, metaphorically speaking.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah.
But Gandalf is the sort of person that makes you talk about things without realizing it.
Yes, he does that very well. Like when he got Bilbo to realize it was time to give up the damn ring.
But, he's an intelligent person. He's socially aware. While he might be confused by the lack of horse for her vehicle, he would mumble maybe something about what a fascinating bit of magic or something.
Yeah.
Not,
Yeah, okay, and in addition to this, forgive me, I'm only feeling a bit groggy. I was tired, you see. It's why I didn't see you coming. Okay,
he demurred.
Yeah, first of all,
okay,
just
piss
off
another,
with your $10 words already.
Yeah, this is another thing that I actually talked about quite extensively recently in the some of the Discords I'm in. The usefulness of words to describe a situation is only as useful as the word is understood. Using words like abdict, abscond, demurred, etc. may provide a better description in fewer words to people, but if people don't know what those fucking words mean, they'll be more confused than if you had just taken the time to say it in a different, simpler way. Now, obviously, if you're writing, say, a research paper, for example, you can use the big words. Because it's a research paper, and people who are reading it probably will know them. And they'll probably commend you for using those big old words, because they're like, ah, yes, this is an efficient writing with, blah, blah, blah. Now, on the flip side, if you're writing a young adult fanfiction, which this is clearly, not that many teenagers are gonna be like, oh, yes, demurred, indeed.
Yes, he demurred. Like, great, you know what demurred means. And I know what it means. But I've read a bunch of books. Sadly, most people don't read that many books these days.
They really should, though.
They should, but they don't. It is something I will forever say on this podcast and to people in general. Read fucking books. That's how you learn how to write. You see what the people who have come before you have done, and you try and emulate it. Monkey see, monkey fucking learn.
She looked at him with a concerned gaze for a few more moments before accepting his excuse. Just accepting his excuse. Okay. She opened the car door for him, helping him sit down. She didn't bother with the seatbelt, because there were no cops out here. Boy, you are playing fast and loose with this old man's life. First you hit him with a car, then you don't put his seatbelt on. You've already clearly shown that you're not a good driver.
What a
Demurred
bitch.
isn't really an advanced word. I would beg to differ with the general audience of people that I have interacted with.
I mean, I'd beg to differ with you, but unfortunately, I can't.
They stayed
People
close
have
to the...
forgotten how to read context.
Indeed.
They stayed close to the town anyway. Oh, my dear, my staff has fallen by the road. Could you retrieve it for me? What the fuck? I'm sorry, is this Gandalf or the Merriam-Webster? Like, Gandalf would be like, oh, I dropped my staff.
Both.
Could you... Funny.
Clearly both.
No, it'd be more. Gandalf would be like, "Oh, I seem to have misplaced my staff," or
Yeah, it'd be like, oh.
He would make light of it.
Yeah, he'd be like, oh, excuse me, could you get my staff for me? I seem to have misplaced it. Like, he'd make a little joke about you just hitting him with a car, even though he doesn't know what a car is. She nodded, walking quickly to where he'd fallen. The staff was lying in the grass, abandoned when he fell. Picked it up, noting how warm it felt in her hands. Noticed a lump of wet gray cloth, picked it up, noticing it was a hat. Pointy hat. She's feeling much less okay with driving a stranger to her house in the middle of nowhere. Apparently she'd picked up a guy dressed as a wizard. Great. So that... Oh, it's okay that I hit him, but it's not okay for him to dress like a wizard. The rest of the drive was quiet. He seemed tense for some reason. Perhaps the pain was greater than she thought. Pulled into the driveway, little house, admired the gingerbread cottage, parked the car, helped him out, eased along staff, using it instead of her, wet hat, staff thumping against the walkway, opened the door, shaking the raindrops. Do you want a shower? I might have some clean clothes that belong to my grandfather sitting around here somewhere. That's weird. I would not turn down a hot bath or a bit of food if the kind lady were amenable, he said, his blue eyes twinkling merrily. Okay. I know Gandalf is intelligent, and he can figure things out. He wouldn't know what a shower is. He would not have the knowledge necessary to automatically equate shower with bath.
Indeed. Blah, blah, blah.
Bit of food, that's fine. I was gonna say, a bit of food if the kind lady were amenable, blue eyes twinkling merrily. That's the most in-character Gandalf's been this entire story.
The strange, horseless metal carriage she had taken smacked of dark magic. I'm sorry, when the fuck did this become Harry Potter?
Hold on. Where did we skip to?
Blah, blah, blah. Oh, my game's Gandalf.
I'll go find the clothes,
you must be a
knew his
Tolkien
name.
fan. No, I don't know about Tolkien. Oh, I'll just go find the clothes then. Was she how she reacted to it made him suspicious. Was she a servant of the enemy? That strange horseless metal carriage she had taken smacked of dark magic. Like,
no,
that
it
sounds
doesn't!
Like, that sounds like fucking shit I would see out of a Harry Potter fanfiction when the magical wizards see some of the muggle inventions. Oh, it's dark magic!
I'm sorry, I seriously feel like Gandalf is the kind of person to be like, how in the fuck does that work, and where can I get one? He struck me as the kind of person. He's a man on a mission, but he seems like he's more than willing to look at shit to figure out how it ticks.
Well, not just that. Gandalf would be like, wow, a cart without a horse? That'd be useful as hell, yo! Who needs to walk to Mordor? I'm driving a bulldozer through the Black Gate! Beep, beep, motherfucker! And so it was not the Eagles that saved the Fellowship, but the M1 Abram tanks that battered down the Black Gates.
Indeed. Never underestimate the M1 Abrams.
I'm sorry, all I can picture now is Gandalf in a 40k tank. Drive me closer, I want to hit them with my sword.
What?
Have you not seen that picture, Max?
What are you... No, I need to see this now.
Hold on.
Okay, so it's an officer and then Lyman Russ from Warhammer 40k.
No, it's much better to show him.
It is. Yeah, I'll bring it up as well.
No, I got it.
Alright, yeah, send it to me.
I'll send it straight to Max, just to keep things simple.
But yeah, no, it's highly amusing.
This is the meme to which we refer, Max. Yeah.
Drive them closer. I wish to hit them with my sword.
Is that... I'm sorry, is that a human or an orc?
That's a human.
That's a human.
And that's a human tank, by the way.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure, because, like, I could see both sides doing it, but I wanted to clarify.
And she did not reek of ill intent. In fact, she seemed innocent. Returned later with clothes.
Oh,
that were
buddy,
clean.
you better be out of ammo in that thing.
My heart rejoices. My heart rejoices in its thanks for you. What the fuck? Is this fresh out of the, Holy Cocoon Gandalf?
No,
Maybe
it's
it
not,
is.
because remember, he's wearing gray, so it's not.
No, that's what I'm saying. Is this like the first day Gandalf the Grey was born? Like...
No,
Maybe?
No, because if it was the first day he was born, he'd be naked. Remember?
Maybe
he came
maybe
back
he
as Gandalf
found it
the
in a
White, and
trash
he
can.
had no clothes.
Yeah, maybe he found him in a trash can while stumbling down the country road. You don't know.
I found a wizard robe, huh? In this trash, in the south.
Why not? You don't know what we keep down here. Fuck off.
I mean, I know you have lots of wizards, but none that dress like Gandalf.
Fuck.
Indeed. Blah blah blah. The tub is full of
fucking
hot
hate you.
water. You're welcome to the products in there. Although I don't think you'll want to smell like peaches. Second door on the right. He bowed, left the room, entering the bathroom, shuffling, fiddling. She didn't get a bad feeling from the old man. He seemed harmless. Blah blah blah. Fiddled around the kitchen as he bathed, making hot sandwiches and lemonade and like sodas. Why do we need to know this information?
Yeah, you say we don't care. You should prepare to spoil
When
yourself
is
with a
her
little
like or
lemonade.
dislike of sodas ever going to come up?
What, for that matter, why do we care about her liking lemonade?
Because of what has just occurred, Gandalf takes off and puts down his wizard hat and staff.
The robes had looked much more at home on him. He looked out of place in a pair of corduroy pants and a button-up shirt. Okay. Again, I know Gandalf is clever, but I think it would take a lot more than a few minutes for him to figure out a shower.
No, she said she drew the bath.
Oh. Did he?
So yeah,
Did she?
it was a full bath
Okay.
of hot water, yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, so blah blah blah, fiddling on the kitchen, robes, made
Blah,
sandwiches.
blah, blah,
they're
talks about
hot.
Middle-earth.
Tell me more about this Tolkien. Olaroin said gingerly.
Oh, yeah. I was gonna say, you can skip all this. It's stupid.
Regarded best fiction writer, The Hobbit, Middle-earth, Here and Now, Tolkien fancied Middle-earth.
Wizards, blah, blah, blah.
Series ended, blah blah blah. You could be a relation to Ian McKellen. Actor portrays Gandalf the Wizard. Wizard sounds far-fetched. She smiled.
Know about elves, blah, blah, blah.
Wizards
Oh,
are
good, she's one of the
kind.
elf nuts.
6 Ages, Sauron, wizards, there were elves, yeah, there was elves, gods, blah blah blah. Tolkien fan likes the elves. I have a soft spot for orcs.
Corrupted elves, blah, blah, blah. Compassionate soul, blah, blah, blah. Called a guest bedroom, it was small, blah, blah, blah. Welcome and love about it. Listen here, no guest bedroom quilt has ever smelled like welcome and love.
Yeah,
It smells
no.
like must and they itch.
Indeed, always itchy. Blah blah blah, loved it, slept well, most interesting dream. Who is the dreamer? You must make sure she is ready by the time she faces the council. They will resist her, but you must stand by. Oh my god, she's actually going to turn into a mixed ethnicity orc. A female mixed ethnicity orc. Gave him food, exotically dark and curly hair. Insistence and kindness, running you over, pleasant dreams, so strange. Elf, drool over legless, oh lord, is the important, Lord of the Elven Realms, nerd room. Let me take you, old man, into my nerd room.
Oh, Jesus.
Please go slower, I'm taking notes. What was after blah blah blah? I've had enough of this
More
blah blah blah!
quality of the fic should be judged by how many blahs. To be fair, it's also a measure of how done we may or may not be with a particular fic.
More or less,
Yeah.
it is a measure of how done I am.
I think we're all done. Can you put this into hyperspeed?
I don't know. Maybe. Nerd room, blah blah blah, let me show you, blah blah blah. Eyebrows blew off his face!
For
Interesting.
sure that's not in there, but...
No, his eyebrows nearly came off his face.
Oh
Legless,
god, it
or
actually was
random-
in there.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
yep,
I'm sorry for doubting you, Sneaky.
yep.
Lord
It's gonna continue to happen in the future, but I'm sorry in this
aware.
instance.
Blah.
The existence
Blah, blah,
of a
blah,
female orc
talks
presents
elf.
several considerably disturbing possibilities. Yes, Isley, you are correct here. Harry Potter, party and stuff. I like to collect movie props. Reached under a sofa, got out a stuffed Smog. Isn't he so squishy looking? I'm impressed he croaked out. I have something for you. This felt like a betrayal. Held out a circlet. For me, Why are you accepting random jewelry from a wizard?
Yeah.
That circlet's the
Or just
garland
an
of
old
flowers,
man.
by the way.
Yes, by the
It's
way,
flower
there
crowns.
is in fact nearly 250,000 words of this.
250,000 words. So she's written that,
Considering
and a
it's a
half
young
adult-
adult novel, I would say
two and a
roughly
half
three.
novels?
3 stories.
Ah,
Three books, yeah.
okay.
'Cause, keep in mind, there is a young adult novel, so they're around, 70k-ish. Not that thick. Thick. But yeah, oh, pretty for me, I'm gonna wear it. He kept staring at her. Sometimes our dreams are real, blah blah blah, flash of light, she's an orc, bing bang boom. This is a young
What do you
adult,
say?
mixed ethnicity, female orc with an afro. If you want to read this story, go right ahead. If you don't want to read this story, you're sane. Alright, let's get a just fucking dumb story to close up this.
Oh, you don't want to leave a review of this? Pointing out every single hole in the lore?
I would rather execute myself.
Oh, yeah, yep, Yep, chapter 2.
Sneaky, do us a favor in the future. Don't get the young adult fanfictions anymore.
It was a roll of the roulette, okay?
I don't care.
Change
I
of
will
appearance,
burn that
blah,
roulette.
blah, blah. Uncomfortable silence, blah, blah, blah. I'm just skimming through chapter 2. Why did you turn me into an orc, she blurted suddenly. I suppose we can stop now, blah, blah, blah. Bit of dried meat, blah, blah, blah. No intention of changing your appearance. It was not made privy to that, blah, blah, blah. The Valar have plans for you. Uh-huh.
Okay, then.
Okay.
Are we done with the story?
Yeah, we're done with that story. I'm gonna queue up Memory Pending. For some reason, it was in the just fucking shit category, so I can only expect amazing things from it.
Oh, good. Crowbar is confused.
Why is Crowbar confused?
Because I told her what we were reading.
How is she confused about it? Like, what did you tell her specifically? Did you just give her a title?
I said, she said, I'm shrieking if people want to make fun of one of the raid leaders for losing his voice. We too busy mocking LOTR fanfiction. So far, we have a mixed-raced woman who will turn into a mixed-race female orc.
Chrysanthem
Many
asks,
question marks.
Chrysanthem asks, if I wrote a young adult novel, would you critique it? I would totally critique it, but I would also try and read the whole thing in a southern accent and make lewd comments the entire time. So, it's up to you.
Interesting. Oh boy. What? What?
You know what? Sure.
Oh
if Sneaky wants to
my
make it
God.
interesting like that, then
Sneaky.
sure, I'll sit there for the critique.
I'll help. Sneaky, I can see, reading the summary, I can see why the hell you put this in the just fucking
Yes, so
dumps.
this is, Memory Pending. I ran into a pole and fell into Aragon's little sister. Literally. I am now Aragon's little sister. Half human, half elf extraordinaire. I'm just gonna roll with it.
You're gonna roll with it. There's nothing to roll with. You made it. You're rolling it.
Let them have their moment, Atin.
Author's note.
They don't deserve a moment.
Author's
Let them
note,
have their
written
moment,
100%
Atin.
for my own enjoyment and unedited. Technically speaking, they can be reported for that. As always, a reminder, folks, when you are posting stories to fanfiction.net, it is actually a deletable offense to not edit your story before you post it.
I was gonna say, you know what? We should mention that to them.
I actually don't care. I have reached the maximum blah. At this point, I just kind of want everyone to die.
Oh, you've reached I'm done status, have you?
I haven't reached the I'm done status. Normally, when someone runs into a pillar, they bounce backwards, maybe fall down, rub their head or nose a bit, then move on. I was quite a lucky person. I won raffle prizes all the time. I had a good family.
Hold up!
That stayed at arm's length. Went to an amazing school.
Hold up,
lived in a
Sneaky.
decent-sized house. Let me finish this sentence, it's still going on. No student loans, a neat boss, exciting job, and all the makings of a quiet, perfect life. Now you can go.
Hold the hell on. None of these sentences, none of these first three, I'm gonna say three because, let's be honest, there really should be three here. But none of these first two run-on sentences are in any way related to each other.
I'm aware!
I know, but I am so annoyed that, by God, I have to point this out. It is in no way related. And way to set up your character as completely boring and uninteresting as a Mary Stew.
Mary Stew.
Yes, Mary Stew. They are so bland. They have ascended to a new level of blandness where they have become both.
Indeed.
They're super lucky. A good family, a perfect family, a perfect school, a great house, no debt, great job, great like, your character's completely uninteresting to me. I don't care. I don't care what happens to your character.
They die violently in a car crash and become Aragon's little sister. How? Whoa!
You know what would have been real interesting?
No.
Having a character that's like, alright.
Oh,
cool,
good.
Mark.
Crowbar's here for a minute because she's confused as
That was
hell.
a while ago.
Uh-oh. Oh.
She was here a while ago. No,
I see.
Yeah.
Well, okay, it was
I
like
wanna see a
3
character
minutes ago.
I want to see a character with a similar setup to this, good boss, good home, but they are massively in debt, and I want their entire reason for trying to survive through this out-of-body experience because they have to pay off their debt.
No, see, I
So that
want it
their
the
family
other way
doesn't get
around. I want finally to get a story where X character ends up in a different world, because there's so many of these stories out there, both in fanfiction and published, and, manga, manhwas, and whatnot, of where the main character ends up in a different world and like, I have to get back. I want one story where the main character's like, I want to fucking stay here. Screw going back to debt, living like shit, and whatever. I just fought a dragon.
There's plenty of those.
I can shoot magic. This is cooler.
There's a ton of stories like that.
I've never seen them.
Oh,
okay, guess what? I've never seen
stick
Donald
with
Trump in
fanfiction.
person. That doesn't mean he isn't running this country.
And, however, there is plenty of footage of him, though, so that's less of useful. There's less.
Okay,
I mean,
I never once have seen North Korea. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Well, that's also on the news, but fair enough point. I don't think it exists either, though. It's fake news. North Korea.
I don't even know where to begin. Like,
name a series. I'll look it up and I'll look into it.
Snaky, I haven't read those series in so
fucking
fucking long is the issue.
Okay,
actually...
Sneaky. Okay, Max, I was gonna say Konosuba's one. He doesn't care. He's like, yeah, this is way better.
That's true, Konosuba.
Yeah, no, you're right, Konosuba does that. ReZero starts out that way. And then he quickly realizes he's got the shittest fucking ability in the world.
Yeah.
I've seen one or two fanfics, but those were way back when I was in high school.
I can say, so that's at least 2, both of which are reasonably popular.
Yeah,
Honestly,
I always
if you-
heard about Konosuba, and oh, right, this one.
Yeah, the one that made you give up because it felt too much like your Dota games to
Yeah.
you, because you're... Sneaky, I think you've got a problem if you're identifying with that particular character, by the way.
Which character is he identifying with?
The main
The
character.
main character.
Oh, yes.
You know, the massive pervert.
Yeah.
Okay.
At least
Identify
stop.
with his situation, not with him.
I know, Sneaky, but, like... You know that issue where people get too attached to characters? You've got that same thing, but it's in regards to your empathy and, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Identifying with the main character to the point it makes you not want to continue the series.
Well, no, see, the problem with Konosuba for me, watching the anime made me feel like I was just going through another Dota game. And that everyone around me is retarded.
And Sneaky, I think the issue here is you've played too much Dota. It might be time
False!
to fucking turn it in.
You cannot play too much Dota.
Okay, no, look, I do have to agree. I was watching it and I was like, this is like a Dota game. Okay, but could you... Look, I get that you want to play Animage. This is not a good game for Animage. Could you pick something different? No, I'm gonna pick Explosions. God damn it.
No, that's like picking Skyrath when the enemy team's like Nyx, Animage, and Pudge.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing that you're forgetting here is the characters are far more likable than your teams in Dota.
I'm not saying they aren't. I'm saying it's a similar situation.
Personally, I think Sneaky would probably like the Explosion Girl. If only because she's really boisterous.
I
And
didn't
over the
think
top.
he would like Explosion. I think he would like Explosion Girl too.
Okay, anyway, so let's finish this. So I can, go commit suicide.
Yeah.
You can go watch Konosuba.
I guess I should have known all that good luck had to be balanced out by something rotten. Like going into a fantasy story and becoming a half-elf. Ah, that's terrible.
Oh no! I'm gonna live for hundreds of years and I can do magic! Oh, what a tragic fate I have suffered!
Isley says I'm not sure how you get Dota out of Konosuba. Well, you've clearly not played enough Dota. Anyway, did Atin just die?
No, I'm still here, you idiot!
He's here.
Oh, because I was looking at the Discord and it says Atin's talking and there's no sound coming out. I'm like, fucking Christ, is he dead?
No, that's just because his mic is picking up ambient noise.
Dude. Back to
now mine
running into
sometimes picks up
pillars.
music.
I wasn't paying attention, blah blah blah. Going into a pillar, bouncing backwards. You alright, Ella? A young man asked as memories that were very clearly not my own crammed their way into my skull.
Oh, good! So now she knows she's... What the fuck is the fuck this fucking...
I'm a Smite player, yes I'm scum. Yeah, I'm glad you admit it.
Calm down, Atin.
I will not calm down.
It wasn't a metal pole I ran into, it was a thin tree.
For your own sanity.
I didn't
Listen
fall
here, I
in
haven't had
the
to worry about my blood
landscaping
pressure
or on the
once. I'm allowed
concrete.
this.
I fell hard in a nest of thorns. Someone wrapped their hands around my forearm and pulled me out as I hissed angrily at the thorns. I looked up at the person who had pulled me out.
Yeah, how dare those thorns scratch me?
Indeed. Pulled me out, dressed in clothes, bow on his back. I'm fine, Aragon. If you want to go back, it was like being two people at once, with the input being processed two ways, as if I had lived all my life and the other never spending more than a few minutes without the full comforts of the Western world. A headache crashed into me and I pitched forward against the person in front of me, set a memory through screaming that I would be sent back home if I didn't... What? One set of memories were screaming that I would get sent back home if I didn't suck it up that instant. The other set was terrified of the way the leaves cast unfamiliar shadows.
Is there a second sun in the Aragon world all of a sudden?
What?
That or we're on
I
Tatooine.
tipped forward into the young man's arms and he barely caught me before I collapsed.
must be your bullshit allergy acting up.
Yeah, okay, so one set of memories were screaming I would be sent back home if I didn't suck it up. Is that supposed to be her elven memories?
It's supposed to be the memories of, like, her being the younger sibling or something, and, like, she wants to go on an adventure or whatever, but I guess...
The other was terrified of the unfamiliar leaves. Like, okay, hold on. If I ended up just, like, you know, hit my head one day and then woke up as... fucking sharing memories with, I don't know, John from Ruby. Right?
Oh, that'd be terrifying.
I wouldn't be like, oh man, these trees seem suspicious. I'd be like, fucking shit, what the hell happened?
Oh, this was not a good batch of cocaine.
Do I need to bring out the incest is wincest sign in preparation? This is a possibility.
Oh boy. Why are
female main characters always fainting on people? Well, you see, Chrysanthem, it's because, insert blah 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 here, whatever you feel like being offended at, carry on.
Indeed.
I feel like I, elucidated that point quite clearly. I woke up leaning against Aragon's chest, feeling as if it was the most natural thing in the whole world. Well, I was his little sister in all but blood.
No, I mean, you are. There's no but about this. You are.
I mean, are we setting up for some free incest here?
I think we are. Also,
I
please never say it like that again. I quickly reviewed my
memories of the person's body I now inhabited. She, Ella, was a precious 8-year-old. I was almost 26. That would take some getting used to. I mean, not really, considering you're probably gonna live for like 300 fucking years or something.
I was gonna say, basically you have to just wait till that body hits 18 and then you don't have anything to get used to.
That would take... The personality was a younger version of me. How convenient! Getting stuck in this girl wouldn't arouse too much suspicion. Well, I mean, considering the fact that you have her memories and can basically call upon them, I would also assume you could basically call upon her to act like her.
You know what? What if this is secretly the cleverest thing ever, and the memories, the soul is still in there, and it's gonna fight her? That would at least be an interesting twist.
That would be a cliched twist. I've seen that done.
Yo, it would be better than this drivel.
Yes, it would be better than this drivel. That's, you know, not saying much, though. Found blah, 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 getting stuck in this girl's body, but I found myself looking forward to being an 8-year-old. She loved exploring the woods, overanalyzing things, adored Aragon, taught her some things and gave her history stories, annoyed at Aragon and amused, and blah blah blah. Garrow would give her tongue lashings, offering her a bed to Brahm. Okay, so basically her presence makes a close relationship between Brahm and the Garrow family.
Great.
I'm sure we're gonna go places with that. Garrow didn't like the attention she brought to herself. Aragon found her in the spine at the young age of 5. She claimed she didn't remember how she got lost there, but she remembered her home in the mountains being sacked and hiding in the cellar. When she climbed out, her parents were dead beside a horned monster with her mother's carving knife in the eye. Okay, she didn't scream. She ran the direction her father told her to. Alright, well, one of them was an elf, and the other was clearly a human, so, that would be a nice distinction there to get. Yes, and they specifically mentioned they were not related by blood. Clearly incest is going to occur. Yeah, pretty much, Isley. 4 days later... She chanced upon a bear. Aragon heard her, arrived just in time to save her from the bear. Ella endeared herself to people. Is Ella the name of that one girl? think so. Anyway, blah blah blah, endear herself to the man. Housework, perfectly willing to do the additional tasks. Less pleased when she became comfortable enough to speak. Always asking arrogant questions. She was healthy, never falling ill. Run as fast as Aragon. Aim Aragon's bow as well as him.
I'm just not listening at all. Is that okay?
Yeah, wild, paranoid version of an 8-year-old me.
Of course.
That's so convenient. Felt guilty about being stuck in this girl's life, but I wouldn't mind being stuck in this girl's life. I realized in horror where I was. I hadn't read the books in years, but I knew the story well enough.
Of course you knew the story well enough.
Easy, immature reading was a perfect thing to distract me. I wasn't ugly, but I wasn't outstanding. I was mediocre, fairly good at the drunken fist style of fighting.
I'm sorry. I was too busy looking at memes trying to forget about this garbage. What did you just say?
She's fairly good at the drunken fist style of fighting that she learned to win a bet in college.
We're done here. Show's over. Wrap it up. Cut.
Don't worry, we're getting near the end of this chapter.
We're not doing it live. We're done. We're done.
I got B's in all my classes, and I passed with a major in Cantonese. You can't major in a language.
Well, I mean, actually, you can.
You can? That's dumb.
To be a translator.
Oh, liberal arts.
Yep.
I forgot about it. See, I kind of put liberal arts out of my mind as not actually a degree.
Yeah, I mean, except for translators, who it totally is.
I mean, anyone can become a fucking translator, though, if they know the languages well enough. You don't need to go to college for that.
No, but it's not just the language, Sneaky.
But,
it's all about, like, culture and shit, too. Like,
yeah. And don't forget,
like,
degrees unironically get you more money.
Yeah.
I could take the Rosetta Stone program and learn Japanese. That does not mean I am qualified to translate.
I know Drunken Fist is an actual style, guys. Jesus fucking Christ.
We know it's a style. We're complaining that
I'm just complaining the fact that they even fucking learned it.
I'm complaining about the fact that they apparently mastered it.
No, it didn't say they mastered. It said they're fairly good at.
Well, see, the thing there, though, is that...
I heard bastard for some reason.
To be fairly good at a fighting style, you would have to practice occasionally.
You can't just do it once on a bet.
Yeah, and on top of all of that, she's 8 now, which means she is far smaller. You're basically gonna have to relearn the entire fucking fighting style at that point.
Yeah, I was gonna say, this isn't like... I'm trying to think. This isn't like, oh my gosh, I can't think. What's one of the ones that's good for small people? Leveraging
judo.
Yeah, I was gonna say, this isn't judo. This is the Drunken Fist.
Yeah, this is about being a big burly man who's swaying around and punching things.
While looking drunk off your ass.
Yeah. I'm gonna make a bet with you guys. We probably won't see the result of this bet, as I won't be going on past this chapter, but I would make a bet with you guys saying that she's totally going to be able to pull off the Drunken Fist as an 8-year-old girl just fine.
I'm sure she will, because this author wouldn't think that far ahead.
Yeah, actually, I know the Drunken Fist is heavily focused on distribution of weight. The problem with that, though, is as an 8-year-old girl, there is not much weight to distribute. It's the reason why the stereotypical people who, you know, are shown knowing the Drunken Fist tend to be overly muscly or overly fat people, because they have lots of weight to throw around into their punches. Stereotypes are stereotypes for a reason, folks. I'm very well aware of what Drunken Fist is. 8-year-old girl cannot do. Now, if it was like, oh, I know judo, I can believe an 8-year-old girl applying judo and
Yeah, I was gonna say, sure, not very. You'll still have a lot of problems because
you'll have to work heavily on the countering aspect of judo and the less of redirection aspect. But yeah, you can do it. Because again,
more believable.
Problem with anything that is a fighting style is it's weight versus weight. It's always going to be weight versus weight. Your weight versus their weight. And depending on the fighting styles, depending on the kind of moves you know, you're going to be better able to either redirect or take the hits. But it's still dependent. If someone's 80 fucking pounds and the person they're fighting is 200 pounds, and they're going to try and redirect the person who's 200 pounds' fist, that redirection isn't going to be that much redirected, because that's still 80 pounds of force. At the very best, there's some sort of magical move out there that lets them put all of their weight into it. That's 80 pounds of force trying to redirect 200 pounds of force. It's not going to end well for the 80 pounds. That's all I'm trying to say. Like, even with judo, there's a reason why they look the stereotypical way they do. There's a reason why they teach kids, when they're teaching judo to kids, there's a reason why they teach them to do the trips and whatnot, because that's one of the easiest areas to mess up the distribution of weight. That the kids don't have to, fight weight to weight then. They can fight the opponent's weight to the opponent's weight.
It would say
important shit.
Because here's the thing, like for instance, let's say that me, I forget, I'm gonna go. I think I'm like 180 right now, 185. I'm a 185 pound, 5'10", 5'11" male. If an 8-year-old tries to flip me using judo, that is probably not going to be successful, regardless of how unbalanced I am, because that individual is 8.
Yeah.
They do not have the ability to gain the muscle to flip me, unless I am, like, stupidly sprinting headlong at them with, like, my head down to try to ram them.
While on a slippery surface, and, etc. But point being, they're probably going to pull some shit of, oh, they're able to apply the drunken brawler skills because it's a half-elf, and they're stronger than humans, and
even
I
if
don't
they
know
are,
how fighting
you're
works.
still 8.
Yeah. Anyway, horror, stuck in Aglasia, Saphira's egg, whole body started to tremble, I've ruined everything. I was being attacked by a shade. I wouldn't call myself sympathetic. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, God. I grasped the bow Garo made for Ella. Resolved. If the real Ella ever returns, so be it. But I wasn't going to let this story play out as bad as it did in the series. I used as a memory palace throughout high school. Galbatorix was going down because Ella is in town. Yeah, let's not say that again. Ever. Blah blah blah. Dragon, egg. Rom was alive. I can save him. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Alright, now that we've all endured through that. Now that you've heard our rants, and you've heard our explanations, and you've heard what little wisdom we have to give, it is time once more to end this podcast. Thank you all for joining us today. If you want to see the archived versions for whatever reason, you can find them in the panel down below leading you to YouTube, or you can find it on the YouTube playlist. It automatically updates with every podcast. If you wish to help us out, you can tell your friends. Don't tell your family. That would be embarrassing.
Indeed.
Tell random people you meet on the bus.
Print a business card. Hand it out.
Exactly. As always, there's always more, and it always gets worse. We'll see you guys
And
Tuesday.
if for whatever reason you have any questions or comments for us, visit our Discord and ask us. We do check it.